Chapter 803. Sigh. Really, he was originally in a good mood, but now he was in a bad mood. How could he still be happy? Time was so tight. Smiling bitterly, Lin Ray stopped talking. He waved his hand and erased all the notifications in front of him. At this moment, his face was no longer as relaxed as before. His brows were tightly knitted and his face was slightly anxious. It was as if everything had returned to the time when he was being hunted down. There was always not enough time. Heh, you brat, you're still pretending to be innocent after getting the benefits. Enough, you should know that to be able to break through to the realm of saint-level lower alchemist, you've already surpassed many genius ancestors. And I'm not afraid to tell you that if it weren't for your experience as an alchemist, you would have already broken through to the next realm. Otherwise, you wouldn't have only used 2 years to break through. The system said, Anne. Are you sure you don't want to hurry up and start refining pills? 2 years' time is almost up. If you can't refine the pill for Jia Yang in the last few days, I'm afraid that his foundation will be destroyed and you will lose a person who can help you. At this point, Lin Ray was stunned. His face was filled with embarrassment and guilt. Then, he straightened his face and said, well, I think you're right. But in the next few days, I still want to familiarize myself with it. After all, it takes time and experience to refine the pill. I can't do it in one go, don't you think so? Sigh. You. Hearing this, the system laughed, okay, hurry up. I'll think of a way to delay it for 2 days. But. I know, you just want to exchange points and reputation points, right? Take it. Don't I have more than 4 million now? Use this money to make up for the previous gap. Without waiting for the system to finish its words, Lin Ray directly said. Lin Ray was quite clear about the system's routine. Okay. The system was stunned for a moment before it agreed. Well, then I'm relieved. Hearing the system's reply, Lin Ray smiled and didn't say anything else. Then, he continued his process of refining pills. However, this time, he didn't spend as much time refining pills as he did before. This time, he was refining pills purely to refine the pill that could save Jia Yang, so he had no choice. Phew, huff huff. In the deepest part of the realm within a realm within a realm, a strange voice suddenly rang out. It came so strangely, without the slightest bit of preparation, let alone the slightest bit of anticipation. This sound also sounded very strange. It was the sound of breathing, but it sounded too loud. If they were talking about cheering. It didn't sound like it at all. The sound was very loud, so loud that the surrounding mountains, rivers, trees, rocks, and beasts formed by the laws of heaven and earth began to tremble violently, even showing signs of being erased. The god from Hongmeng had been sleeping here for so long. It was time for him to wake up. Your successor is about to arrive. He can help you accomplish what you couldn't before. He can help you get through the final phase of your life. Your successor will allow Hongmeng to see the light of day once more, and you will allow this realm to become an eternal firmament. Wake up. Your successor needs you. He needs your everything. He needs your sacrifice. He needs your everything. At this moment, a loud voice that could intimidate all living beings sounded. When this voice sounded, the mountains and rivers that were erased by the sound of breathing, as well as the surrounding scenery, were restored. In fact, they seemed to have become more real. A voice that sounded like a response sounded. This voice didn't sound like the loud voice. This voice was very hoarse, and it gave off a feeling of vicissitudes. It was as if the person who spoke had traveled through countless years, seen through everything, and guessed everything. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Suddenly, the environment that had returned to normal was completely destroyed after this. In the blink of an eye, a man that was 10,000 feet tall appeared. His appearance was no different from that of a normal human. He wore a long robe that resembled the earth. Looking at it made one sigh in admiration. The man's eyes were closed, but due to the size of his body, one of his eyes was the size of a small mountain. As the ancient said, "Chi can swallow mountains and rivers." If this man wanted to talk, not only could he swallow mountains and rivers, he could even take off the entire world. Around the man's body, there was a kind of natural law. This law was very soft, like ripples of water, and it rippled outwards in circles. Phew, he moved. At this moment, the 10,000 zhang tall man woke up. His eyes opened abruptly. However, what made people feel strange was that the man's eyes were blue. They were so blue that they seemed to be ordinary. They were clear and captivating, but they also had a gaze that made people feel reverence. Because the man's eyes were so deep and boundless, like the endless starry sky. One look at them and one would be unable to extricate themselves. Successor? Lying on the ground, he looked up at the sky, and his eyes emitted a blue light that shot up into the sky. Yes, your successor. He is not under my control. He's a very interesting little fellow, and... At this moment, the mysterious man spoke. The little fellow they were talking about was none other than Lin Ray, who was currently concocting pills. Oh. He's not under your control? When he heard the mysterious man's words, his originally tranquil gaze started to waver slightly. That's right. Originally, I didn't notice him. But, not long ago, he actually entered this place and learned the sword art you left behind. Of course. That's not what really surprised me. What surprised me was the tone of the sword art in the hands of that little fellow, and his cultivation technique. Tell me about it. I really want to know who exactly is the person who can make the great Tao unable to take me in. Even you can't control him. If he's really as good as you said, you don't need to say anything. After all, apart from the life and death situation back then, I really can't think of anyone who can escape from your control. Hearing this, the great Tao felt helpless. The man made it sound like he was some heinous and ruthless person. By the way, what did you say about his weapon and cultivation technique? You don't know? At this moment, the man's face showed a hint of interest. Sigh. That's right. Hearing the man's question, the great Tao nodded. That weapon is very strange. Its realm is very high. Even your weapon back then can't compare to it. What? The man was shocked. If that was really the case, then the little fellow that the great Tao was talking about was really amazing. He knew that his weapon back then was condensed from Hongming's purple aura. Its realm was also the pinnacle of this world. That's right. Moreover, the 9 heavens' eternal azure dragons are imprisoned in it. They seem to have reached the pinnacle and are very powerful. The great Tao said slowly. At this moment, the man was no longer as calm as before. Because if that was the case, then it was really too heaven-defying. Not to mention escaping the control of the great Tao, he believed that he could even kill the mighty people of Hongmeng. Then what about the cultivation technique? His cultivation method is even more powerful. I've checked and found that he's condensing a primordial chaos golden core. You should know what a primordial chaos golden core means, right? Those 2 guys are watching. How could they let that thing escape? Hiss. Hearing this, the man sucked in a breath of cold air. His face was full of shock. They all knew that even in Hongmeng, it was just a process of the evolution of an era. As for the origin, it existed in the vast universe. Not to mention the golden core condensed from the chi of mixed yuan. The golden core stage was a process that a cultivator had just started. With such a weak body, he could condense the chi of mixed yuan into his body and condense the golden core. This in itself was an incredible thing. How is it? Are you tempted by such a person? Moreover, because of that guy, the entire Hongmeng froze and you died. If you didn't have a heaven-defying method to escape, I'm afraid that you wouldn't even have a trace of your soul left. At this moment, seeing the shock and anticipation in the man's eyes, the great Tao laughed. Sigh. Hearing this, the man nodded. Damn you. I, Gu Jun, have died in your hands. However, I have to say that the news you brought this time is indeed good. Moreover, as he spoke, Gu Jun's face revealed a trace of disappointment and sadness. Moreover, I don't have much time left. If you didn't suddenly wake me up, I'm afraid that I could still struggle at death's door for a while. However, because I woke up, I've already lost the last trace of life in my body. Now, I'm only hanging on because of my last breath. When this breath is gone, I'm afraid that He didn't continue because he knew that even if he didn't say anything, the great Tao would know what he was going to say next. Sigh, a long sigh was heard. This sigh was filled with all kinds of emotions. There was pity, regret, disappointment, helplessness, sadness, but most of it was reluctance. Heh, it's fine. Isn't it just death? Back then, I should have gone. However, I didn't fulfill my wish and I didn't want to see Hongmeng being destroyed by that guy. That's why I stayed until now. Phew. Now, everything is fine. With that kid you mentioned, I can finally be free. Now, I can also pass away and meet those friends who have already passed away and stayed in the river of time. At this moment, Gu Jun's words were filled with carefreeness as if he could let go of everything. At this moment, he seemed so relaxed. Looking at how carefree Gu Jun was, the great Tao didn't try to persuade him. Alright, do whatever you want. Anyway, all of you are going to leave me. Hearing until here, Gu Jun was taken aback and let out a bitter laugh. You still have the cheek to say that. Back then, you chose the path of the great Tao. No one forced you. Saying that, Gu Jun's face was filled with anger. Moreover, back then, you were the one who cried and begged to be the great Tao. I remember that you said that when the great Tao is the great Tao, you can think of everything about me and can even be the great Tao. What's going on now? After a while, the great Tao couldn't say anything and finally gave up responding. Alright, hurry up and go back. As for that kid, you don't have to worry. Since he's here, it means that he wants to stay until the end. So, saying that, Gu Jun revealed a sinister smile and seemed to be harboring malicious intentions. That person, I will definitely take him. Okay, if that's the case. I'm going. Hearing Gu Jun's words, the great Tao responded and left the realm within the realm. Heh. Interesting. After life and death, there's actually such a little guy. TSK. I really want to see how you can reach the best realm. What a pity, the voice continued to fade until it finally disappeared completely. At the same time, the illusion that he had returned to was completely restored and even more vivid than before. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was in the middle of the realm, naturally didn't know what had happened in the deepest part of the realm. The current him didn't know anything. Huff. Opening his eyes, Lin Rei nervously stared at the flame in front of him. Damn, these 9 spirits are too difficult to refine. Just a single spirit medicine took me so long to refine. At this moment, he had already started refining the 9 spirits to save Jiayang. However, what Lin Rei didn't expect was that this thing was actually so difficult to refine. Even with the illusory spirit blood fire, it was still extremely strenuous. You brat, there's no such thing as a free lunch in this world. Oh, you can't just let others chew on it and spit it out in your mouth, right? At this moment, the system spoke. F***ck me. Facing the system, Lin Rei was as speechless as always. He was as helpless as always. Smelt. Even Lin Rei didn't reply. The system directly acted. Suddenly, a terrifying energy instantly rushed into the flame. The spirit medicine that originally didn't show any signs of melting, under the sudden addition of a huge amount of energy, actually began to show signs of melting. Moreover, as time passed, the signs became more and more obvious. Regarding this, Lin Rei's originally depressed heart finally revealed a trace of joy. Hurry up, I won't always help you. This is also because I see that Jia Yang is about to die. I'm afraid that you'll have to trouble me in the future. The stubborn system explained. Okay. As long as you can help, whatever you say is right. Okay. At this moment, Lin Rei smiled. His smile was very happy and appeared to be very carefree. Time passed little by little. In the blink of an eye, a day had passed. And the spirit medicine in the illusory spirit blood fire, at this moment, has finally completely melted and turned into pure quenching liquid. Chapter 804. F***CK, the 9 spirits profound yang fruit is finally refined. I'm so tired. Looking at the quenching liquid in the bottle, Lin Rei relaxed. The most important main ingredient, the 9 spirits profound yang fruit, was now ready. Come, next is the 6 paths of spiritual intelligence mushroom. I hope he can quench it properly. I hope it won't be like before where it took a few days to finish. Looking at the spiritual intelligence mushroom in front of him, Lin Rei sighed. System, looking at Lin Rei, the system rolled its eyes and said snappily, I say, can you do it or not, huh? I don't have that much time to waste with you. Also, you should know that Jia Yang doesn't have much time left. With you talking to yourself here, maybe he has already finished quenching the spiritual intelligence mushroom. Listening to the system's lecture, Lin Rei was stunned. He wanted to refute, but in the end, he didn't say anything. After all, he was the one who asked the system to help him control Jia Yang's body. Now, thinking, Lin Rei had an apologetic look on his face. I know, I'll start right away. After saying that, the illusory spirit blood fire was instantly activated. When the temperature reached a certain level, he reached out and threw the spiritual intelligence mushroom into the illusory spirit blood fire. At this moment, Lin Rei was very cautious. He was so cautious that cold sweat appeared on his forehead. Not for anything else, but because if this batch of spiritual medicine was ruined, then he would have to fork out money to buy another batch. Lin Rei wouldn't do this kind of losing business. Thus, he would rather be more careful. This way, he wouldn't have to waste his money and he could also save Jia Yang. This was the best of both worlds. Why not? Little by little, he investigated the changes of the spiritual intelligence mushroom in the illusory spirit blood fire. The fire couldn't be too big or too small, it could only be moderate. After the investigation just now, Lin Rei basically understood the habits of the spiritual intelligence mushroom. The spiritual intelligence mushroom was of the Yin attribute. For quenching, it could only be done with a moderate flame. Otherwise, if the flame was too big, it would cancel out the medicinal effect of the spiritual intelligence mushroom. If the flame was too small, it would also affect the medicinal effect of the spiritual intelligence mushroom. Thus, when the flame was neither too big nor too small, it could be released and quenched. In this way, the spirit intelligence mushroom that was refined was the most suitable quenching liquid for refining 9 spirits. Not bad. As expected of a low-level saint-level alchemist. In such a short time, he was able to observe the characteristics of the spirit intelligence mushroom and the way I used fire. TSK. Not bad. Within the system, seeing Lin Rei in such a state, the system praised him. It had thought that Lin Rei would be able to turn the spirit intelligence mushroom into scrap on his first try, but looking at his current state, it seemed impossible. As for the pills that it had prepared in advance, it didn't need them anymore. Seeing how relaxed Lin Rei was, the system smiled and kept the pills that it had prepared in advance. As for the system's actions, Lin Rei had no idea. In the system's heart, Lin Rei had already done the best he could. He had done something that was impossible for others, something that they would never be able to do in their entire lives. However, on the surface, the system wouldn't praise Lin Rei like this. Because on Lin Rei's shoulders, there were more important things waiting for him. Waiting for him to move forward, he couldn't stop. Therefore, in order to promote Lin Rei, the system could only be so cold on the surface, constantly mocking or spurring him on. Almost. Almost refined out. In the outside world, Lin Ray smiled as he checked the situation of the spirit intelligence mushroom in the flame. At this moment, he was very excited. This spirit intelligence mushroom was much easier to refine than the previous one, at least for now. As for the other ones, Lin Ray couldn't say, and he didn't dare to guarantee, because those were the spiritual herbs that he had never used before. The refinement of the spirit intelligence mushroom was completed. In the end, it was refined in perfect condition. Finally, it was stored in a pill bottle that had been prepared beforehand. After that, Lin Ray didn't rest. In order to let Lin Ray wake up faster, he also did it for the system. Just like what the system had said before, the fact that Jia Yang could still finish his work was all thanks to the system. If it wasn't for the system, Jia Yang's foundation would have been destroyed and his future cultivation path would have been halted. Without wasting any time, as time passed, as the spiritual herbs were refined one after another, a day passed in the blink of an eye. During this day, Lin Ray didn't rest. Even if the spiritual energy in his body was exhausted, he would use all the pills to recover. He couldn't stop. Finally, after a day of unremitting efforts, more than 30 spiritual herbs were refined and turned into quenching liquid. It emitted a gentle light and was stored in a pill bottle. Phew, after letting out a long breath, Lin Ray went to rest. His face relaxed slightly. After a long period of mental tension, Lin Ray was physically and mentally exhausted. Looking at the 30 bottles in front of him, although he was physically and mentally exhausted, he still smiled. This was because as long as everything went smoothly, Jia Yang would wake up soon. This was what he wanted to see the most and also what he hoped for the most. Moreover, if he was physically and mentally exhausted after a long period of mental tension and the spiritual energy in his body was exhausted, he wouldn't stop. He would continue refining. Closing his eyes, he circulated the primal chaos heavenly scripture. Suddenly, a terrifying amount of spiritual energy rushed into Lin Ray's body. Lin Ray entered a state of recovery. In this state, a hint of relaxation appeared on Lin Li's face. At the same time, the nervousness he had felt during his training had been alleviated. Phew. 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 Slowly, Lin Ray adjusted his breathing rhythm and a smile appeared on his face. Time quietly passed and a smile appeared on his face. Half a day passed. At this moment, Lin Ray, who originally closed his eyes and circulated his cultivation technique to recover, retracted his cultivation technique and the spiritual energy in his body returned to its peak. At this moment, the exhaustion from before was swept away and a relaxed smile appeared on his face. Sigh. Looking at the bottle in front of him that was emitting a gentle light, Lin Ray's heart tightened. The originally relaxed feeling disappeared and in a flash, only tension remained. Not for anything else but, because his strength had begun to refine the 9 spirits. Although he had done a lot of foreshadowing in order to refine the 9 spirits, the current Lin Ray couldn't help but feel a little nervous. He was afraid that some unstable and unpredictable factors would appear. Boom, although he was nervous, Lin Ray still began. The illusory spirit blood fire instantly rushed out of his palm. Then, the quenching liquid refined by the 9 spirits profound yang fruit was instantly thrown into the flame by Lin Ray. Puff puff. Suddenly, a strange sound was heard. In response to this, Lin Ray's face revealed a trace of horror, and then he quickly lowered the temperature of the flame. As the temperature of the flame decreased, the previous puffing sound gradually disappeared and returned to normal. Oh my God, you scared me to death. Because of the situation just now, Lin Ray's heart trembled and he was extremely nervous. One had to know that he had spent a long time refining the quenching liquid just now, and in the end, he had to catch the power of the system to slowly refine it. If the customer were to interrupt him at this point, Lin Ray himself would probably not be able to forgive himself. After stabilizing the quenching liquid, Lin Ray's face revealed a trace of joy, but his heart was even more cautious than before. As the quenching liquid changed, Lin Ray began to add the quenching liquid bit by bit. He was very careful when he started. 1:5:15. As the time was ripe, the quenching liquid of the spirit medicine entered the illusory spirit blood fire one by one. Until half an hour later, all the quenching liquid had entered the flame. At this moment, Lin Rei could finally relax a little. Ouch! His heart trembled for a moment, and then he began to refine. The refining process was not considered locked, but some of the pill formulas were very troublesome. Moreover, these pill formulas were created by Lin Rei himself. If Lin Rei did not teach him step by step, perhaps, even if he watched the formula being refined, he would not be able to refine it. Ha! Talent refining. With a loud shout, Lin Li's hand seals, which had originally been extremely slow, began to change bit by bit. The speed of the hand seals also began to change after his shout. As time passed, the hand seals became faster and faster, and each of the hand seals was very mysterious, but very powerful. If there was a cultivator who was refining pills here, and Lin Rei's hand seals were like this, he would definitely prostrate himself on the ground and beg to be his disciple. In an instant, his divine sense entered the flame to investigate, and the hand seals became faster and faster, until Lin Rei's hand could no longer be seen. At this moment, all the quenching liquid in the flame began to merge. Ho, ha ha ha, just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Looking at all the quenching liquid merging, Lin Rei became even more nervous and careful. At this moment, he was even more excited than anyone else, because if he succeeded, then his alchemy skills would increase again, and Jia Yang would be able to wake up quickly. In the blink of an eye, a few hours passed. In the process of extreme nervousness, Yi Shiwen used his divine sense to investigate the shape of the pill and the flame, and finally, a fragrance came from the flame. Heh, how is the pill fragrance? Lin Rei felt his body become lighter, and he felt a little light. Lin Rei was very optimistic about this kind of pill. Especially those spiritual herbs that were added to it, they were all things that he had never seen before, and, most importantly, it cost him more than 8 million exchange points. This was the most important thing. 4 hours later, as the medicinal fragrance became more and more concentrated, a wang sound was heard, and Lin Rei's face revealed a trace of a relaxed smile. Withdraw. With a shout, the illusory spirit blood flame was withdrawn, and a longan-sized golden pill floated in the air. Whoosh! However, at this moment, when Lin Rei saw the success of the pill and felt happy, a strange scene appeared, and the 9 spirits all rushed towards the exit of the realm within a realm. F***CK. When this scene appeared, Lin Rei couldn't help but curse. His exhausted body flashed, and he released all his cultivation and speed, instantly arriving in front of the pill. Stop right there. Looking at the pill in front of him, the hand that was carrying a huge amount of spiritual energy directly grabbed the 9 spirits. Feeling that the 9 spirits had gained intelligence, Lin Rei was stunned for a moment, but he reached out his hand and wiped it away. He didn't dare to be so stupid as to give the current Jia Yang a pill with intelligence to eat. If he really ate it, then the one who woke up would not be Jia Yang, but the intelligence produced by the pill. After doing all this, Lin Rei checked thoroughly once more. After confirming that there were no mistakes, he dared to appear in front of Jia Yang and stuffed the 9 spirits into his mouth. The pill melted in his mouth. But Lin Rei did not let his guard down. Immediately, his body began to revolve, and with a huge amount of spiritual energy in his hands, he placed them on Jia Yang's back and began to refine the pill. Even though Jia Yang's body was slowly recovering, but he still couldn't withstand the overbearing effects of the 9 spirits. So, this was the only thing he could do. And this way, he could ensure that nothing went wrong, and prevent any problems from arising in the future. At this moment, after the pill entered Jia Yang's body, it quickly melted and rushed towards his limbs and bones. His meridians, bones, and some invisible injuries, with the help of the 9 spirits, began to be refined at a speed visible to the naked eye. TSK, these injuries. Seems like I'll have to let him cultivate his body properly after he wakes up. This won't do. Feeling the injuries in Jia Yang's body, Lin Rei mumbled in his heart. Huff! However, right at this moment, Jia Yang, whose eyes were originally tightly shut and whose face was pale, quickly recovered under the effects of the 9 spirits. At this moment, he appeared to be much rosier. Under the refinement of the 9 spirits, the bones in his body were also being reconstructed. As for his damaged meridians, they were all recovering quickly. Precisely because of that, at that moment, Jia Yang's eyelids that were originally tightly shut started to wiggle. Heis! Opening his eyes and looking at the scene in front of him, Jia Yang was stunned as he raised his head in confusion. Kid, what are you sighing for? If not for me, you would have been dead long ago, do you know that? Hearing Jia Yang's sigh, Lin Rei rolled his eyes and muttered. Ugh! The moment this voice appeared, Jia Yang's body tilted to one side, and he turned his aching neck with difficulty. Looking at Lin Rei, he revealed a look of confusion. He remembered that he was outside and was even struck by the red dragon beast. If not for the old dragon's timely rescue, he might have really died. But, why did Lin Rei, stuttering, Lin Rei wanted to say something. But after a while, Lin Rei panicked. Don't you. I know what you want to say. Looking at Jia Yang's expectant gaze, Lin Rei's face revealed a look of helplessness. It was the old dragon who brought you back. At that time, your condition was really bad, so, saying that, he retracted his hands from Jia Yang, and his face relaxed. Kid, if not for the fact that yours truly knows how to concoct pills, I'm afraid you would have lost your life and your foundation. But it's okay. As long as you refine all the pills in your body, I believe you will recover soon. Saying that, without waiting for Jia Yang to speak, the Chaos Dragon Spear appeared. Lin Rei's hand shook, and 3 golden dragons flew out of the spear and into the sky above Lin Rei's head. Huh! Seeing the appearance of the 3 golden dragons, Jia Yang's face revealed a trace of confusion. However, after hearing Lin Rei's next words, he understood. Looking at the dragons above his head, Lin Rei spoke. You guys stay here and watch him. Don't let anyone come near here. Anyone who enters, kill. Chapter 805. Aowu. They must absolutely obey Lin Rei's orders. No matter how powerful they were when they were alive, they were now the souls in the dragon spear. They were Lin Rei's subordinates. At this moment, Jia Yang was stunned when he heard that they were leaving. He quickly said, Lin Rei, where are you going? How about I go with you? Looking at Jia Yang, Lin Rei's heart skipped a beat. Thinking about the unknown path and unknown dangers, Lin Rei became firm. No. You stay here and recover properly. When we return, you will follow me to the outer layer of the divine world. After I finish my business, I will help you concoct a medicinal pill. This medicinal pill can help you break through your current physical body's level. If there are no accidents, it can help you break through your current cultivation level and enter the early hierarch realm. Lin Rei slowly said with a confident smile on his face. Really? Hearing this, Jia Yang was stunned. Immediately after, he entered a state of excitement. One must know that the problem of his physical body had troubled him for a long time. Although he had already obtained the inheritance of the Pai Xiu, it still required time. Moreover, even if he broke through the limits of his physical body, it would not hinder him from cultivating the Pai Xiu's cultivation technique. Looking at Jia Yang's excited face, Lin Rei chuckled, really? But the prerequisite is that you must have a very good body. Look at yourself now, do you think you have it? He wanted to refute. He knew that Lin Rei did this because he did not want him to take risks. But, just as he was about to open his mouth, the word, "I" came out and he could not say anything else. He did not know what to say. All right, it's decided then. You stay here and heal your injuries. You'll be back soon. When the time comes, I'll definitely bring you to my sect to take a look. Tell them to bear with the elders of the sect. You should also recognize the sect. Don't you think so? Looking at Jia Yang, Lin Rei's eyes flickered with anticipation. It was as if he had already returned to the sect. Alright, it's a deal. He nodded. Just like Lin Ray, an expectant look appeared on his face. He also wanted to see what kind of sect could produce such a powerful existence. After hearing Jia Yang's reply, Lin Ray revealed a relieved expression. Immediately after, he flew towards the depths of the mountain range. At this moment, Jia Yang didn't chase after him. Instead, he closed his eyes and entered into a state of cultivation. He wanted to quickly heal the injuries on his body. Only by doing so would he be able to break through the limits of his current physical body. As for Lin Ray, what he didn't expect was that under his supervision, Jia Yang became even more hardworking. Practically day and night, Jia Yang forgot himself and was constantly thinking about how to heal his injuries and how to become stronger so that he could fight side by side with Lin Ray and not become a burden to Lin Ray like he was now. Not only could they not fight side by side, but they also needed each other to protect them. He did not like this situation very much, so he had to work harder than others. Only by doing so would he be able to do what he wanted to do and not be restricted by his physical body's cultivation. Just like this, Jia Yang entered into the state of recovery while Lin Ray continued to move forward. What he didn't know was that in the depths of the mountain range, Gu Jun was already waiting for him. Ever since the conversation with the Dao, Gu Jun had not slept. Instead, he had been waiting here, waiting for Lin Ray's arrival. Then, he would impart all of his abilities to Yi Shiwen. At this point, Yi Shiwen could completely break free from this time and once again enter the river of time to reunite with his friends. At this moment, Lin Ray who was flying was filled with excitement. At the same time, he was also on guard. He was on guard against the existence of other illusory beasts. He didn't want to be careless and lose his life here. Along the way, Lin Ray used all of his cultivation in order to leave this place as soon as possible. After wasting time in the mountain range, he didn't have much time left. At this moment, he wanted to obtain the secret of this place as soon as possible so that he could leave this place. He moved forward to the outer layer of Cheong City. He wanted to rescue that old woman so that he wouldn't be poisoned to death. On both sides of the road, there were various water sceneries formed by the laws of heaven and earth. They were extremely beautiful and moving. Looking at the laws of heaven and earth that were formed, Lin Ray's heart was filled with excitement. Especially when he flew deeper into the mountain range, Lin Ray could see Zhou Weidong's fantasy of caring for the mentally retarded. However, these fantasies were becoming more and more real. Until now, the fantasy's secret realm had completely solidified. If one didn't investigate it, they wouldn't know that the scenes that everyone was excited about were all formed by the light of the laws. Be careful later. At this moment, the systems suddenly warned Lin Ray as he was moving forward. Although the road ahead was filled with the unknown, the system had to remind Lin Ray because at this moment, even he could detect what was ahead. It was possible that the path ahead was obscured by the heavenly secrets, or that the thing ahead had a powerful cultivation and the system couldn't detect much. Regardless of which it was, the system was very worried because it wasn't sure what the owner of this place wanted. It was very worried about Lin Ray. It was different. Lin Ray had appeared here, so it had to protect Lin Ray and protect Lin Ray from harm. Hearing the system's warning and worry, Lin Ray felt a warmth in his heart and smiled. Don't worry. Don't you know me? If there's any danger, I'll leave without you saying anything. As he spoke, he smiled as if he was saying, "You're awesome, I'm awesome." The system was speechless and didn't say anything. However, it released its divine sense and searched for all possible dangers within 100 kilometers. Even though Lin Ray didn't seem afraid, the system was unmoved. It moved faster and faster, and it wasn't too far away from where Gu Jun was. Miraculously, the system's divine sense didn't find anything strange. At this moment, in the depths of the realm within the realm, Gu Jun opened his eyes and sensed Lin Ray's aura getting closer and closer. A smile appeared on his face. Finally. He could sense Lin Ray's aura. Although he wasn't sure if it was the person the system was talking about, but, I hope you can withstand my test. Looking into the distance, a devilish smile appeared in his eyes, as if something very interesting was about to happen. As he thought about this, he closed his eyes and used inspect to find Lin Ray's whereabouts. Who is it? At this moment, the system, which had released its divine sense, looked around and felt that nothing would happen. Suddenly, an extremely powerful divine sense appeared. This divine sense was so powerful that the system couldn't help but feel shocked. Of course, while the system was able to detect the enormous consciousness, the system's consciousness, which was also the enormous consciousness, could not necessarily sense the system's consciousness. Lin Ray, feeling the powerful divine sense, the system was about to tell the truth. However, just as it was about to speak, it suddenly thought of something and closed its mouth. What's the matter? The system suddenly spoke and then closed its mouth. Lin Ray was confused. Lin Ray, who understood the system quite well, had never seen it like this before. No, nothing, I just wanted to remind you to be careful. Looking at Lin Ray, the system slowly said. All right. In response to the system's worries, Lin Fan slowly nodded. Just now, he had wanted to blurt out what he had sensed, but he had sensed that there wasn't the slightest hint of danger from that divine sense. Thus, the system was certain that there shouldn't be anything up ahead that could threaten Linley's life. The system didn't say anything, so it closed its mouth again. Lin Ray also listened to the system's deal and walked forward very carefully. After all, this room was unpredictable, and no one could guarantee what would happen in the next moment. However, at this moment, a voice that seemed to come from the 9 heavens suddenly appeared. Spirit illusion technique, condense, illusion, appear. Who is it? The voice sounded very suddenly, as if it came from all directions. Lin Ray couldn't detect it, let alone find its direction. Rumble, rumble, a rumbling sound could be heard, and the originally empty space in front of him suddenly started to change. The area in front of him, which was originally filled with flowers and trees, suddenly changed and became very strange. A beast roared, and under Lin Ray's gaze, it suddenly appeared. Following Lin Ray's gaze, a demon beast that didn't look like anything else slowly took shape. The pressure from it was very strong, and it gave Lin Ray a feeling that could only be described with one word: it really looks like it. This was because when the demon beast roared, a fishy smell came out from the illusory beast's mouth. To Lin Ray, this feeling was very real. If he hadn't seen the illusory beast before, Lin Ray would really think that the demon beast in front of him was real. Boom, the giant beast took shape, and a huge pressure that Lin Ray couldn't withstand appeared in an instant. It directly crushed Lin Ray's body without any resistance. Boom, plop. In the next moment, his eyes were filled with disbelief and shock. With a moment of carelessness, he was directly suppressed to the ground. At this moment, he was in a very sorry state. At this moment, Lin Ray didn't seem to be affected at all, and his mouth directly made intimate contact with the ground. Look, what level is this demon beast? Why is it so strong? At this moment, Lin Ray, other than being shocked, he also had other thoughts. He rejoiced that he didn't soften his heart and bring Jiayang in. Even he felt a bit uncomfortable when facing such a powerful Jiayang. If it was Jiayang's broken body, he would probably be coughing up blood from the pressure. The roar of the demon beast continued, and along with the appearance of the demon beast's roar, the pressure also rapidly increased. At first, there was only one mountain pressing down on him, but as the pressure became stronger and stronger, slowly, one mountain became 2, and then 3. The pressure continued until finally, when Lin Ray felt that there were 8 or 9 mountains on his back, his face turned pale and he coughed violently. At this moment, Lin Ray had reached the limit of his body. If the pressure continued, he would probably die here. Not bad. Your body actually has the strength of a peak Dao fruit saint. Not bad. At this moment, the mysterious voice from before appeared again. However, this time, the mysterious man was full of praise for Linley. Who are you? Lin Rei couldn't help but roll his eyes at the mysterious voice. He was extremely shocked. He was not the only one in this realm. Moreover, this person's cultivation level was so high. Even the demonic beast he had conjured was at the great perfection of the Tao Fruit Saint realm. Thinking about it, how many cultivations did this mysterious person have? At this moment, Lin Rei couldn't help but reveal a shocked expression as he swallowed his saliva. His face was full of shock. Hee hee, little guy, you're not bad. Previously, I heard from the great Tao that you're not under his control. Did you know that there were only 2 bastards who were not under his control? Now, you've appeared. You're the 3rd. You're not bad. At this moment, the mysterious voice appeared again. Lin Rei was stunned. His face turned pale and he revealed a vigilant expression. At this moment, his body also began to struggle. Only he, the system, and his little dragon knew that he was not under the great Tao's control. He couldn't find the mysterious person who had exposed his identity. Moreover, the great Tao. Did he just say the great Tao? Don't show a vigilant expression. If I wanted to kill you, do you think you would be alive now? Seeing Lin Rei's vigilant expression, the mysterious person said angrily. Although Lin Rei wanted to refute, he didn't want others to. Ever since he stepped into cultivation, the little dragon had told him not to trust anyone. He just had to believe in himself. Therefore, the mysterious person's words were not enough to make Lin Rei let down his guard. Fine, do whatever you want. Seeing Lin Rei so vigilant and not at all letting down his guard, the mysterious person didn't try to dissuade him. I also want you to be my successor and inherit my mantle. I wonder if I don't want to. Lin Rei refused decisively. Before the mysterious person could finish speaking, he directly refused. Mantle? What a joke. How could I, who has the system, inherit your mantle? And if I did inherit your mantle, the first thing Lin Rei thought of was the great Tao. He was not controlled by the great Tao. My life is in my hands, not the heavens. Only by believing in myself can I have the capital to fight people, to fight the earth, and to fight the heavens. Hiss. However, at this moment, Lin Rei, who seemed to have thought of something, couldn't help but gasp. His eyes widened, and his face was full of disbelief. You can't be the master of this realm within a realm, the Almighty from Hongmeng, right? Lin Rei asked tentatively. Just now, he realized that because of the mysterious voice and the terrifying suppression, Lin Rei didn't pay attention to the details at all. Now that everything was in order, this thought appeared in his mind. I am Gu Jun. Chapter 806. Gu Jun. Lin Rei was stunned when he heard the mysterious person's name. Then, he fell silent. Underneath his calm appearance, he was filled with shock. After all, this voice belonged to a god from Hongmeng, not a saint. The two of them weren't on the same level at all. Linli was certain that if the evil phoenix were here, he would be just as nervous as Linli was. Wait. In fact, he would be even more nervous than Linli. After all, Lin Rei had already received the system's notification. Now that he saw it for himself, he could not help but be shocked. However, what puzzled and shocked Linli was that previously, the system had clearly said that the primordial chaos powerhouse had already died, and that only the body of a dead primordial chaos powerhouse would have a self-protection mechanism. But now, everything had changed. The Almighty of Hongmeng was not dead. Moreover, now, the system wanted to pass on its legacy to him in such a dramatic way. This made Lin Rei dumbfounded and stunned. At this moment, Lin Rei was not the only one who felt this way. He could not even fathom what was going on. He did not expect his prediction to be wrong. As for Gu Jun's current state, the system knew that it did not expect this. It was rare that Gu Jun of Hongmeng was able to preserve his soul until now. Oh, yes, it seems that I have underestimated the gods here. I did not expect the little god of Hongmeng to be so capable. The system muttered. System, you tricked me again. At this moment, Lin Rei came back to his senses and said to the system through telepathy with mixed feelings. Gu Jun wanted to explain. After all, Lin Rei was right. However, it was not entirely his fault. After all, he did not expect the gods here to have such an ability. In the end, he did not reply to Lin Rei. Silence was better than words, and he did not speak. Finally, he fell into complete silence. At this moment, Gu Jun didn't seem to be too surprised by Lin Rei's rejection. It was as though everything was within his expectations. Looking at such an interesting human, Gu Jun chuckled and said, "Little guy, do you know that as the first god of Hongmeng, I have a lot of things on me? Any one of them can cause the entire universe to fall into a frenzy of killing and fighting. I'm very curious. I'm very curious why you're not interested and rejected me without any hesitation." Me? Hearing Gu Jun's words, Lin Rei was stunned. Then, he looked at the sky in a neither servile nor overbearing manner. His gaze was serious, as if he was about to go through a battle. "I am me. Although your conditions are very tempting, I will not accept your things. Even more so, I will not accept your things. From now on, I will be controlled by the great Tao. My life is my own. No one can have it, and I will not allow anyone to control it." As he spoke, Lin Rei slightly raised his head and continued with an amused expression, "Furthermore, I feel that there is no need to worry about this matter. Your things might not be as good as mine. So what if you're the first god of Hongmeng?" Clang! Lin Rei said. Then, he swung his arm and stabbed the Chaos Dragon spear in his hand into the ground before him. Activating his cultivation, he channeled his spiritual energy into the Chaos Dragon spear. Suddenly, 5 azure dragons charged out of the spear's shackles and appeared around Lin Rei, guarding him tightly in the center. "Oh, so these are the things that you said can surpass me?" Looking at the azure dragons that appeared out of nowhere, Gu Jun was taken aback. His heart was filled with astonishment. He could tell that the 5 azure dragons were definitely much stronger than him when they were alive. But in that case, there was a problem. In the Hongmeng realm, he had never heard of such powerful beings. Moreover, there were 9 of them. This left him in disbelief. He believed that even in the Hongmeng realm, no one would recognize the 9 azure dragons because they had never seen or heard of them before. "That's right, don't panic. I feel that my things can't compare to Lin Rei, except his inheritance and his mantle." Suddenly, a voice rang out. Lin Rei was stunned, and halfway through his sentence, he didn't say anything else. "What? Accept?" At this moment, hearing the system's voice, Lin Rei was stunned. He found it hard to believe that the system would say such a thing. Didn't it know that if he accepted it, he would unintentionally be controlled by the great Tao? In that case, thinking about it, Lin Rei didn't dare to continue thinking because he didn't know what kind of terrifying things he would think of if he continued thinking about it. And the system knew that Lin Rei was so agitated and confused. "Heh, kid, don't be anxious." "How can I not be anxious? You bastard, what are you thinking?" Hearing the system's words, Lin Rei became more infuriated the more he thought about it. Sigh. The system sighed at Lin Rei's reaction. "I told you to accept the inheritance, but I didn't tell you to choose to cultivate it. Wouldn't it be fine as long as you don't cultivate Gu Jun's cultivation method? Furthermore, didn't you come here to take his body and all of his inheritance back? What's going on now?" I. Hearing the system's words, Lin Rei was speechless and couldn't explain himself. The system was right. The reason why the Great Tao could control everything was because of their cultivation method. As long as they didn't cultivate it, they wouldn't be controlled by the Great Tao. Regarding this, Lin Rei knew that he had been rash and had fallen into the trap. Thinking about it, he felt a sense of regret. Isn't it better to think like that? If you obtain his things, you can increase your cultivation. At the very least, you can awaken the little dragon. Hearing Lin Rei's thoughts, the system said. Yes, I know. Previously, I didn't think of it. It's my fault. Lin Rei apologized for his rebuttal to the system. Regarding this, the system chuckled. Alright, you brat. Do you think I don't know you? Alright, remember. You are only allowed to accept everything from Gu Jun. You can't cultivate his cultivation method. Do you understand? Furthermore, as it said that, as if it was afraid that Lin Rei would forget, it continued to remind him, when you receive Gu Jun's information, I will think of a way to erase the will of the Great Tao. Yes, I understand. Hearing the system's arrangement, Lin Rei felt relieved. However, the moment his worried heart calmed down, he thought of something and asked the system anxiously, if I do that, will anything happen to you? Will you be pierced by the Great Tao? It's fine. At this moment, the system felt a thick warmth. This feeling was very comfortable. It's still too early for the Great Tao to notice me. Furthermore, I only erased the mark of the Great Tao. I didn't do anything else. Phew, he let out a long sigh and looked relieved. That's good. I thought, he didn't continue. After knowing that the system wouldn't be discovered, Lin Rei let go of his previous reservations. At this moment, Gu Jun's voice sounded again, Brat, I'll ask you one last time. Do you want my inheritance or not? You have to know that I'm not someone who can just, I want it. Without waiting for Gu Jun to finish his sentence, Lin Rei's lips curled into a smile as he said firmly. Although his words were interrupted, Lin Rei's reply was beyond his expectations. Previously, he said that he didn't want it and his attitude was very firm. It's only been half an hour. What's wrong now? Has his personality changed? Or is it someone else? How about it? Now tell me, what can you give me? What can I get from you? Besides, I've always believed in earning my own living. Now that a pie has fallen from the sky, I really don't like it. I'm afraid that I'll be smashed to death. As he said, Lin Rei's eyes flashed sharply. With a mysterious expression, he looked at the sky and continued, Tell me, what do you want me to do if you give me everything you have? Don't ever say that you have no conditions. This kind of words only work on little brats. To me, it's useless. Gu Jun, looking at the experienced Lin Rei, Gu Jun was stunned. If it wasn't for the fact that the person in front of him was young, he would have thought that the person in front of him was an old monster from the same era as himself. The calmness and experience that didn't lose to his age shocked Gu Jun. Time passed slowly. In the blink of an eye, the scene fell into silence. No one spoke. Gu Jun also fell into silence. At this moment, he was thinking about what to say next. In the blink of an eye, an hour had passed. Finally, the silence was broken by Gu Jun. Kid, you're right. The reason why I gave you my inheritance is because I want you to help me remove the ice seal in Hongmeng. Also, I want you to help the Hongmeng realm recover to its former glory. At this moment, Gu Jun's words revealed traces of sorrow. Remove the ice seal? Hearing Gu Jun's words, Lin Rei was speechless. He seemed to have heard the little dragon mention this before. It seemed that he had a mission in the future to help the Hongmeng realm remove the ice seal, although he wasn't sure of the details. Yes, looking at the strange look in Lin Rei's eyes, Gu Jun didn't think too much about it. However, thinking that he didn't have much time, he urged, Alright, let's not talk about this for now. I don't have much time left. I'll quickly give you the inheritance now. As for the rest, you'll be able to fully accept it when you reach a certain level. As for my conditions, I will separate a trace of my consciousness and store it in your mind. As long as you reach a certain level, that trace of consciousness will be able to sense everything to you. What? Just like that, it was over. Before he could even open his mouth, the decision had been made. Such a hasty decision. Before Linley could even open his mouth to refuse, he felt an enormous amount of information flood into his mind. With a buzzing sound, a pain as if he was struck by lightning swept over him. This pain didn't come from his body, but from the depths of his soul. Hongmeng Tendo Technique. At this moment, a technique appeared in Lin Rei's mind. Looking at this technique, Lin Rei was stunned. Then, without looking at it, he used his willpower to seal it in the depths of his mind. Bit by bit, all of Gu Jun's inheritance swarmed into Lin Rei's mind. As such, it was fortunate that Lin Rei's mental strength was strong. Otherwise, Lin Rei's mind would have been crushed by the huge amount of information and he would have died. Just like that, Lin Rei was immersed in the matter of Gu Jun's inheritance. Meanwhile, in the ancient corpse vault, earth-shattering changes occurred. Without the control of the three chiefs, the first, second, and third layers of corpses began to wantonly kill in the ancient corpse vault. However, whenever they saw a human disciple, no matter who it was, they would rush up to fight. Although they knew that they couldn't win, with thousands of corpses advancing dauntlessly, even if the person was a hierarch expert, he wouldn't be able to withstand such a dense battle. As such, all the disciples who entered the ancient corpse vault suffered unspeakably. However, there was no other way. They were no match for the corpses and didn't dare to show their faces. If they were discovered by the corpses, there would only be one outcome, death. It was in such an environment that everyone persevered for a few years. Finally, all the cultivators who entered the ancient corpse vault were excited. Not for anything else, but because today was the deadline of 30 years. The ancient corpse vault opened every 30 years. Today, it was exactly 30 years. At the entrance of the ancient corpse vault, that shocking light pillar appeared once again after 30 years. At this moment, the cultivators who looked at the light pillar cried. They couldn't hold back their tears and finally burst out. Whoa, finally, I can finally leave. I can finally leave. Looking at the light pillar, everyone couldn't wait any longer. They couldn't care less about the corpses and took out their magic treasures and soared into the sky. Whenever they encountered a group of corpses on the way, they would stop by killing them. Their only goal now was to reach the exit and let the people behind them leave. As for the hundreds and thousands of people who entered, there weren't many left. Other than the less than 100 people on the surface, there was no one else. Because, those people had already entered the stomach of the corpses. In the third heaven, Pai Xiu stood in front of the palace and looked at the mountains. His eyes were filled with anxiety. What's going on? The 30-year deadline is already up. Why hasn't Lin Rei come out yet? Moreover, don't panic. Lin Rei hasn't come out. Even Jia Yang has disappeared. After such a long time of searching, the entire ancient corpse vault has been turned upside down by the three of us. In the end, we still couldn't find Jia Yang. Do you guys think that Jia Yang? No, absolutely not. At this time, hearing Gu Feng's words, Pai Xiu quickly interrupted. Although that brat's cultivation is not good, he wouldn't be so stupid as to not find a place to hide. Yes, absolutely not. That brat is definitely still alive. Yes, he's still alive. Sigh. Seeing Pai Xiu so agitated, Gu Feng was stunned. Everyone was stunned and no one said anything. The scene fell into silence. No one said anything, but their eyes were fixed on the mountains in unison. In the depths of the realm within the realm, a young man stood there with a deep gaze and an evil smile on his face. At a glance, it gave people a creepy feeling. Time passes so quickly. I didn't expect that just by accepting an inheritance, 30 years would pass in the blink of an eye. Chapter 807. It's been 30 years. It's time for you to leave. At this moment, Gu Jun looked at Linley. His eyes were filled with concern, as if he had some special feelings for Linley. Yes, I know. 30 years have passed and the entrance has opened. It's time for me to leave. At this moment, Gu Jun's body appeared in front of Lin Rei. However, the difference was that Gu Jun's massive body was now 30 meters tall. Although Gu Jun's body looked very majestic before, he was much more pleasing to the eye now. However, Gu Jun's eyes were dim and unfocused, as if he was a person who was about to die. Looking at the current Gu Jun, Lin Rei felt inexplicably uncomfortable. He knew that Gu Jun didn't have much time left. Moreover, during this process, he was only quietly receiving the inheritance. However, for some reason, his heart ached and he couldn't bear to see it. He even wanted to ask the system to see if it had any ideas. However, as soon as this thought appeared, Lin Rei stopped it. This was because he wasn't powerful enough and couldn't let anyone know about the system's existence. He couldn't do that. Lin Rei looked at Gu Jun and said, "Don't worry, I will definitely fulfill my promise to you. I will also help you unseal Hong Meng." At this moment, Lin Rei's gaze was unwavering and filled with confidence. In response, Gu Jun smiled and nodded. Good, 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 good. I didn't misjudge you. This way. I can rest at ease. As he spoke, Gu Jun's voice became softer and softer. In the end, his voice completely disappeared. At this moment, his eyes lost their luster and no longer had a trace of life. Gu Jun, sensing that Gu Jun's body no longer had a trace of life and even his soul had completely disappeared, Lin Rei suddenly roared angrily. His eyes were filled with sorrow. Although there was no master-disciple relationship, there was still the intention of a master-disciple relationship. Although they had not formally become his disciple, in Lin Rei's heart, he had already secretly remembered this almighty from Hong Meng who had once helped him. Time passed quietly. Only when his mood improved did he regain his cold and resolute appearance. How is it? You're much better now, aren't you? At this moment, the system suddenly spoke. It's all right. However, he was still the person who had passed down his legacy to me. Although it wasn't as clear as a master-disciple relationship, but he was still someone who had helped me. I, Lin Rei, will definitely help him complete it. Yes. This is the kind of person that I, the system, fancy. You really value integrity. Good. At this moment, after hearing Lin Rei's words, the system didn't forget to praise himself. Regarding this, Lin Rei expressed his helplessness. Alright, don't be so self-deprecating. My storage ring can't store Gu Jun's corpse. Hurry, keep Gu Jun's corpse and pass it to the little dragon later. See if he can extract something useful from Gu Jun's body so that he can wake up soon. You. Hearing this, the system was taken aback. Its eyes were filled with suspicion. Previously, it had a sorrowful look, but now, it wanted to make use of Gu Jun's body. You. Don't think too much. Everything is for the big picture. Yes, the big picture. Knowing the system, he naturally knew what it was thinking at this moment. Then, he quickly explained. Yes, everything you said is right. Alright, I'll keep it now and pass it to the little dragon, okay? Without refuting, the system kept Gu Jun's corpse and placed it in front of the cave where the little dragon was recovering from his injuries. After doing all this, looking at the empty space, Lin Rei was stunned. His face revealed an indescribable expression. At this moment, looking at Lin Rei, the system asked, "What's wrong? Is there something wrong?" "No." The system suddenly said. Lin Rei replied without thinking, "I just feel like there's a pair of eyes watching me from the beginning. TSK, maybe I've been too tired all these years." Saying that, he revealed a tired smile, "But, after ascending to the Holy Realm, I'll have 8 to 10,000 years of good rest and study in the scripture depository. I hope that by then, I'll be able to recuperate my body and recall what I've done in the past." The system was not used to Lin Rei's sudden behavior. Okay, I know you're tired. When you reach the Holy Realm, I'll definitely give you a long vacation, okay? But... The system changed the topic and urged, "But, you should leave this place quickly. After all, this place used to be supported by Gu Jun. Now that Gu Jun is gone, I'm afraid that I won't be able to come back after this place closes. Then I know that your formation skills are high, but your time is limited. You can't order me around. Knowing what Lin Rei wanted to say, the system cut him off. Heh, okay, you're awesome. Lin Li was speechless and helpless at how the system had interrupted him and guessed what he was thinking. It's good that you know. After saying that, the system disappeared into the system. It did not appear again, and its voice also completely disappeared. The system's shamelessness had exceeded Lin Rei's imagination. Facing this, Lin Rei could only accept it and keep quiet. He took one last look at this place that shocked him and made him unable to forget for the rest of his life. Then, he turned around and activated the dragon subduing step. In an instant, an azure dragon appeared under Lin Rei's feet and carried Lin Rei's body towards the entrance of the Holy Realm. As for the azure dragon in the chaotic dragon spear, Lin Rei did not recall it. Even if he did not recall it, it would not affect them. After receiving Gu Jun's inheritance, Lin Rei felt that his cultivation had become more refined. It was as if he could break through to the late hierarch realm at any time, but there seemed to be a barrier that prevented him from breaking through. Lin Rei was puzzled by this phenomenon, but there was nothing he could do about it. For the current Lin Rei, breaking through was not something that could be done by looking directly at the huge amount of spiritual energy. Only when one's cultivation level, spiritual energy, and opportunity had reached a certain level, the right time, the right place, and the right people could break through smoothly. As the saying goes, let nature take its course. Whoosh! A gust of wind swept past in an instant, carrying the perfect law of heaven and earth in the holy realm towards the entrance. Outside the ancient corpse vault, a woman in red suddenly appeared, followed by a man and a woman. The two of them were very respectful towards the woman in red in front of them, as if she was a high and mighty god that all saints looked up to, and they were people who were waiting to be redeemed. At this moment, the three of them were staring at the golden light barrier at the entrance. Their eyes were filled with anxiety as if they were waiting for something. Senior CFO, why isn't the young master out yet? So many people have already come out, yeah. Senior CFO, why aren't the young master and Senior Pai Xiu out yet? It shouldn't be. With the young master's cultivation level, it shouldn't be so slow, right? At this moment, the man and woman standing behind the woman in red asked. How would I know? This brat is always causing trouble. He'll feel uncomfortable if he doesn't cause trouble for a day. At this moment, the red-clothed woman called Evil Phoenix spoke with an ice-cold expression. Her ice-cold expression made it seem as if someone owed her a great deal of money. Yes, they were CFO, Chu Ci, and Yun Kai, who had been separated from Lin Rei and the others for more than 30 years. For 30 years, they had been cultivating on a mountain peak not far from the entrance. 30 years was just a blink of an eye to them. 100 or 200 years was no different from 1 or 2 days in their eyes, so, Hearing Xia Feng's response, Chu Ci and Yun Kai shrugged their shoulders awkwardly. They looked at each other and didn't say anything else. Brat, just you wait. Let's see if I won't beat your ass open when you come out. Yun Kai muttered in her heart as she looked at the light screen with concern. Please. Within the holy realm, Lin Rei, who was flying, suddenly felt something that shouldn't have happened to him. Sneezing? Did I catch a cold? It shouldn't be like this. At this moment, Lin Rei sneezed out of nowhere. One should know that as long as one stepped into the cultivation world, they wouldn't have diseases like the flu that only humans would have. But now, Lin Rei, who was at the peak of the middle hierarch realm, actually sneezed. It's been 2,000 or 3,000 years. I never thought that something like this would happen to me. Feeling the pleasure of sneezing, an inexplicable smile appeared on his face, as if this was a particularly meaningful thing for him. Lin Rei? Suddenly, while he was sneezing, a familiar voice suddenly rang out and pulled Lin Rei back to reality. He raised his head and saw Jia Yang waving at him with a smile on his face not far away. It seems like you've recovered. Looking at Jia Yang, Lin Rei showed a relieved smile. Seeing how lively Jia Yang was, he definitely recovered from his illness. Moreover, Lin Rei believed in his alchemy skills. Whoosh, he suddenly sped up and arrived in front of Jia Yang in an instant. He looked at him and extended his hand. Come on up. The entrance to the ancient corpse trove has opened. We need to hurry. Otherwise, when the entrance closes, no one will know when we get out, let alone leaving. Oh. Jia Yang, who was originally showing a happy smile, instantly changed his expression when he heard this. His face was filled with shock. He immediately nodded his head and jumped onto Lin Rei's azure dragon. As for the several azure dragons that had followed Jia Yang, they had returned to their own group. Roar, 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 dragon roars that shook the eardrums resounded. The roars were filled with joy. He turned his head and glanced at the azure dragons. Then, he smiled and rushed towards the entrance of the holy realm with Jia Yang. Since they were already here, it meant that they were not far away from the ancient corpse trove's third heaven. However, at this moment, he felt a distressed gaze. Although the entrance would last for a year when it first opened, the loophole in the ancient corpse trove was too big. After 30 years, the ancient corpse trove would open. Those who entered the ancient corpse trove would be able to leave. However, the gaze sensed that the entrance would only last for a day. If they could leave within a day, they would be lucky. If they couldn't, they could only blame their bad luck. Heh, boy, do you want to ask for help? I can send you to the entrance in an instant. Suddenly, the system spoke. The meaning of the system's words was exactly what Lin Rei needed the most right now. Hearing this, Lin Rei was stunned. His eyes were filled with excitement. However, he knew that the system wouldn't be so kind. Say it. How much do you want? He, as expected, straightforward. Seeing Lin Rei's reaction, the system chuckled and reported, not bad. Just 1 million exchange points. That's really, not much. Lin Rei was really at his wit's end. 1 million, the system actually said that it wasn't much. I'm afraid that you misunderstood the concept of not much. Of course, Lin Rei didn't have so much time to explain. Compared to his life, money was just a worldly possession, so, okay, give it to me. As usual, I'll give it to you when I have the money. What do you think? Lin Rei said. Okay. The system agreed. After you get out, keep Gu Feng and the other two into the system. When the time comes, I'll use my magical ability to teleport you to the entrance. Okay. Hearing the system's words, Lin Rei nodded and his face relaxed. At this moment, the Pishio and the others who were stuck out of the third heaven were anxious. Under Gu Feng's guidance, they knew when the entrance would close. Lin Rei, boy, don't cause trouble, okay? I can't afford to be tormented like this. Looking at the mountains, the Pishio muttered to himself. Sigh. It seems that we can't get out this time. At this moment, Gu Feng, who was at the side, looked at the time passing by. The time needed to reach the exit wasn't something that could be reached in 1 or 2 days. For a moment, the thing that they were looking forward to was once again gone. A sense of loss welled up in their hearts. Yeah. I thought that this time, you could leave this place and enter the divine realm full of sunshine. It seems that this time. Roar. All of a sudden, an earth-shattering dragon's roar interrupted everyone's wild thoughts. Lin Rei, young master? Regarding the dragon roar, the first person that came to everyone's mind was Lin Rei because only Lin Rei had a dragon. Whoosh. The sound of something breaking through the air was heard. What entered their eyes was a green light that instantly soared into the sky from the mountains. Then, it swooped down and finally arrived in front of everyone. Because of the momentum, the moment it arrived in front of everyone, dust flew up, causing everyone to frown. When the dust dissipated, what entered everyone's eyes was the long-awaited Lin Rei and the missing Jia Yang. Jia Yang? Looking at Jia Yang, everyone was stunned. When they saw Lin Rei, everyone understood what was going on. They had been searching outside for such a long time, and this guy actually entered the realm within the realm to look for Lin Rei. Hee hee. Everyone, is okay? Hearing the Pishio calling his name, Jia Yang said embarrassedly. Lin Rei. Chapter 808. What do you think? Looking at Jia Yang, who was filled with embarrassment, Pai Shou held back his naughtiness and said to him with a cold face, We thought something had happened to you, so we hid ancient corpses to look for you. What about you? You actually went to a realm within a realm. Tell me, how are you going to compensate us who worked hard? Hee hee, that's right. It's best if there are medicinal pellets. It's best if I have something like the 9 revolution mixed yuan pellet or something comparable to the 9 revolution mixed yuan pellet. Otherwise, we can't let this matter pass. At that moment, hearing Pai Shou's words, Ba Bao also started to talk. He was asking for too much. Too much. Something that could be comparable to the 9 revolution mixed yuan pellet? There probably weren't many medicinal pellets in the divine realm that could be comparable to the 9 revolution mixed yuan pellet. No, there was none, although the speaker didn't mean it. The listener took it seriously. It's just that Jia Yang wasn't able to obtain the things they said. He looked at Ba Bao and the others with guilt and spoke. About that, the things you want are too expensive. I might, PFFF. Hearing Jia Yang speak so seriously, Pai Shou couldn't hold back and burst out laughing. Even Ba Bao was like that. Everything just now was just a joke. They didn't expect Jia Yang to take it seriously. Hee hee, you brat. Looking at Jia Yang, Pai Shou laughed and spoke. His face was filled with interest. Are you stupid or stupid? Do you think we don't know that you don't have those things? At that moment, hearing the laughter, even the stupidest person reacted. With a helpless expression, they looked at Pai Shou and Ba Bao speechlessly. Enough, stop talking. Look at how you've teased Jia Yang. At that moment, seeing Jia Yang speechless, Lin Rei quickly mediated. The things you've encountered this time have already surpassed what you can handle. Also. As he spoke, Lin Rei's gaze landed on Jia Yang. Also, this time, if it wasn't for Tsang Long, I'm afraid that Jia Yang wouldn't be here anymore. What? Jia Yang. At that moment, hearing Lin Rei's words, everyone knew the seriousness of the matter. With serious and caring gazes, they came to Jia Yang and began to inspect him. While checking, he kept sniffing. Are you alright, Jia Yang? Come, let me see if you're injured. Quick, let me take a look. Is there anything wrong? Is there any injury in your body? Does it still hurt? Seeing that everyone was so enthusiastic, Jia Yang was startled. Then, his expression changed, and he hurriedly replied, It's fine. It's all thanks to the pills that Linley refined that saved me. Otherwise, right now, I would have become food in the stomachs of the zombies. Phew, the moment these words were spoken, everyone let out a long sigh of relief in unison. Their worries from earlier had all disappeared at this moment. It's good that you're fine, it's good that you're fine. At this moment, everyone left Jia Yang's side. However, there was one person who did not come. You brat, your cultivation is still not enough. It seems that when we return this time, I must properly train you. Otherwise, if we encounter this kind of thing again, the result will still be the same. At this time, Pai Shou was beside Jia Yang. It pointed at him and said with an unpleasant expression. At this moment, Pai Shou seemed to be treating itself as Jia Yang's master. Its tone was very much like an elder reprimanding a junior. Lin Rei was stunned by this scene. Then, he smiled and did not say anything. He knew what Pai Shou was thinking. The one who was not panicking was him. Even Ba Bao also knew about it. He turned around and looked at Gu Feng and the other two. Looking at them, Lin Rei did not speak any nonsense and went straight to the point. In a moment, I will bring you all into a secret realm. At that time, don't struggle. When we get out, I will release you all. Do you understand? What? Now, we can still get out. Hearing those words, Gu Feng and the other two were shocked. They knew the distance from here to the exit. It was not something that could be reached in 1 or 2 days. However, looking at their young master's firm gaze, they did not think that he was lying. Regarding this, the three of them were very puzzled. Lin Rei did not feel that it was strange for the three of them to say such words. After all, they were the owners of this place. They already knew when the exit would close. Don't worry. Since I said that I will bring you all out, I will do it. As he spoke, Linley pointed at the gloomy ancient corpse burial ground. With a dazed look on his face, he continued, and do you think that I will stay here for hundreds or thousands of years, waiting for it to open again before leaving? My time is very useful. I don't like to waste time buying this place. So, don't worry. That's great. Although there was still a little bit of disbelief in their hearts, since Lin Rei had already said so, there was no need to think about it anymore. That's right. Looking at Gu Feng and the other two's faces that revealed a trace of trust, Lin Rei smiled. All right, by the time you all appear again, you will have already left the ancient corpse depository. Yes, understood. Knowing what they should do now, Gu Feng and the other two's bodies relaxed and entered a state of emptiness. Heh. Looking at the three's reaction, Lin Rei smiled. Then, with a thought, his divine sense instantly focused on Gu Feng and the other two's bodies. With a thought, Gu Feng and the other two's bodies instantly disappeared. In the system space with picturesque mountains and limpid waters, Gu Feng and the other two appeared. You all stay here. Once we reach the place, I will release you. Seeing that the three's eyes were still closed, Lin Rei was surprised. After saying this to the three's three, he directly exited the system. At this moment, hearing Lin Rei's words, the three opened their eyes. What entered their eyes was a picturesque mountain valley. Aside from the fact that there were no living creatures, there was everything else that one could think of. There were streams, hills, grasslands, and some elixirs. Although they were the lowest grade elixirs, they were indeed colorful and exceptionally fragrant. The scene before them caused Gu Feng and the other two to feel astonished. At the same time, they now fully believed in Linley's claim that he could bring them out of this place. He could do it. This person who had suddenly appeared in their lives was able to free them, to leave this place where they didn't even know they existed. With a thought, Lin Rei could sense Gu Feng and the other two's situation in the system. Seeing the trust and respect in their eyes, Lin Rei smiled and immediately returned to the main topic. Looking at Pai Xiao and the others, Lin Rei opened his mouth. Time was tight and he didn't have much time to explain. In a while, you guys too. Don't resist. I will bring you out of here, do you hear me? Lin Fan said to them in a commanding tone. Regarding this, they knew the severity of the situation and knew that now was not the time to joke around. Understood, N. Seeing that everyone nodded in agreement, Lin Fan immediately communicated with the system, it's okay. When I tell you to leave, you take action. Understood. Regarding this, the system was already prepared. It was just waiting for Lin Rei to give the order. At this moment, everything was ready except for the east wind. Seeing that everything was ready, a relaxed smile appeared on Lin Fan's face. He looked at everyone and nodded, wait for me, I've been here for a long time. Saying this, without giving them time to react, Lin Fan's spirit energy instantly rushed out and directly wrapped Pai Xiao and the others tightly. They were like a big dumpling, impregnable as a fortress. Let's begin, system. Okay. Hearing Lin Rei's words, the system directly threw something similar to a whirlpool out of the system. Following that, the whirlpool that was thrown out by the system directly appeared at the feet of Lin Ray and the others. Teleportation portal, up. At this moment, the system's voice appeared in Lin Ray's mind. Hearing this, Lin Ray was stunned. He stared straight ahead, his eyes full of emotions. Teleportation. Teleportation portal? Regarding this, Lin Ray was speechless. He thought that the system would use something high-end, but he didn't expect that in the end, it was actually a teleportation portal. That. Feeling the anger in Lin Ray's words, the system was stunned and immediately wanted to explain. System, you are really evil, aren't you? However, without waiting for the system to speak, Lin Ray directly retorted. 1 million, I want to buy a teleportation portal. With a trace of hesitation, he communicated with the system. You know, I am a pinnacle venerable stage array master. You asked a array master to spend 1 million to buy a teleportation portal, aren't you slapping me in the face? It wanted to explain, but it was a pity that it couldn't say anything. After all, Lin Ray was right. Asking a array master to buy a low-end portal was a very unacceptable thing in itself. Without further explanation, it knew that Lin Ray was currently in a fit of anger. Teleportation portal, start. Rumble, rumble, suddenly, the originally calm ground began to shake, and a shocking light pillar instantly appeared at the feet of Lin Ray's wind blade. Originally, it was just an effect similar to a choice, but after the abnormal rumbling and shaking, the original effect changed at this moment. The whirlpool began to rotate, and slowly, the people who were wrapped up by Lin Ray began to sink bit by bit as if they had fallen into a swamp. It's okay, this is a teleportation portal, don't worry. Looking at the doubts in everyone's eyes, Lin Ray hurriedly explained. Although he was very unhappy, after all, the current problem was solved. Thinking about this matter, he was not so unhappy about being cheated previously. Slowly, Lin Ray and the others sank bit by bit. At first, it was their legs, then their bodies, and finally their heads. In the end, everyone disappeared into the whirlpool. Boom! A loud sound was heard again, and the original whirlpool instantly collapsed and disappeared. At the exit of the ancient corpse trove, there were cultivators in 2s and 3s rushing towards the exit in a sorry state. Some were covered in injuries, some were missing an arm or a leg, and some were blind. In any case, except for a few individuals, everyone who came out had become disabled. Boom! However, at this moment, just as everyone was desperately trying to escape from the ancient corpse trove, they saw a beam of light suddenly appear at the exit. The beam of light was blue. At this moment, looking at the beam of light that suddenly appeared, the people who were desperately trying to escape were stunned on the spot. The aura of a teleportation portal, this is. At this moment, an old man looked at the beam of light that suddenly appeared with a stunned expression, and doubts arose in his heart. Not only the old man, but some of the stronger cultivators at the side also looked at the beam of light with doubts in their hearts. Everyone had been through a teleportation portal before, so there was nothing strange about this. However, what made everyone curious was that this teleportation portal was in the ancient corpse trove, which was very strange. However, under the blue beam of light, a few figures appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Phew, finally out. At this moment, in the beam of light, a young man looked at the coincidental golden light barrier with a relaxed expression on his face, as if everything had ended there. Yes, finally out. I thought it was too late. At this moment, a young man who was similar in age to him said. Look, there's someone there. Yeah, there's someone. I didn't think that there would be such an impressive expert here, to be able to use a teleportation portal in the ancient corpse trove. At this moment, the few figures within the blue light appeared in front of everyone. Instantly, the crowd was in an uproar. Discussions, clamors, envy, jealousy, all of them appeared at this moment. As for the crowd's voices, they were all heard by the people within the blue light. TCH, Lin Ray, I didn't think that your teleportation portal would cause so many people to be dissatisfied. At this moment, the few figures within the blue light were Lin Ray and the others who were teleported over from the ancient corpse trove's third heaven. For the second time, the one who spoke was none other than the Pai Shio. It's best that you don't provoke me, or else I'll kill all of you. Without looking at the surrounding unrelated people, he looked at Jia Yang and the others and said, let's go, perhaps Xia Feng is already waiting outside. Xia Feng. Hearing those words, the Pai Shio was stunned, and his face became slightly unnatural. Let's go. After saying that, he ignored the Pai Shio's unnatural expression and stepped out of the blue light and walked towards the golden light barrier. Lin Ray? At this moment, a voice filled with disbelief sounded from the side. Hearing that voice, Lin Ray frowned, stopped and turned his head to look. At this moment, a woman entered his eyes, a woman that Lin Ray was slightly familiar with. However, Lin Ray couldn't remember who she was at this moment. Okay, hurry up, the entrance is about to close. At this moment, seeing that Lin Ray stopped, the Pai Shio couldn't help but urge. Okay. The Pai Shio's words caused Lin Ray to be stunned. Immediately after, he moved away from the familiar woman and stepped into the golden light barrier. Whoosh! At this moment, Lin Ray and the others left the ancient corpse trove. As for the woman who called out Lin Ray's name, she was stunned and her face was filled with disappointment. Just now, she clearly saw the confusion in Lin Ray's eyes. She clearly knew what that meant. Could it be that you don't recognize me? Chapter 809. She lowered her head in disappointment. Tears rolled down her cheeks uncontrollably. Her heart was filled with grievances and disappointment. She didn't understand. It had only been a few decades, but the other party had already forgotten about her. Sigh. A sigh was suddenly heard. A hand reached out from behind and patted the girl's shoulder. A comforting voice said, Mingyue, you have to understand that Lin Ray is not an ordinary person. Just by absorbing the refining techniques, he is enough to destroy this world. Although we are disciples of the Cocoon Sword Sect, but, after saying that, the voice stopped. It wasn't that he didn't want to, but he couldn't bear to see his niece crying. I know, but I just can't help but want to, sigh. Looking at his niece's appearance, the man sighed and said, let's go. It's time to go out. The exit here must be closed. After saying that, the man pulled his crying niece and stepped into the golden light barrier. They disappeared from the ancient corpse vault. At this moment, Xia Feng, who was waiting for the entrance of the ancient corpse vault, became less and less calm. It seemed that she would rush in at any time. Brat, just you wait. When you come out, I will kill you, whoosh. After saying that, the golden light barrier suddenly changed. In the next moment, a young man stepped out of the ancient corpse vault and arrived at the entrance of the outside world. Looking at the few people in the deep sea, the man's face revealed a trace of joy. After 30 years, I finally came out. At this moment, Xia Feng, who was silent, glanced at the young man. When she saw him, the smile on her face disappeared. She took a step forward and arrived beside the young man in a flash. Then, she slapped the back of the young man's head. At this moment, the young man, who was admiring the divine world after 30 years, suddenly felt a cold wind blowing at the back of his head. Suddenly, his smiling eyes turned cold and sharp. Then, he waved his hand and rushed behind him. Bang, boom, the sound of a collision alarmed all the cultivators present. After the collision, a terrifying energy wave spread out in all directions like ripples on water with the two as the center. Those cultivators with lower cultivation bases were sent flying without any resistance after coming into contact with the terrifying shockwaves of the battle. As for those with higher cultivation bases, they were also affected by the aftershocks. Although they were not sent flying like those with lower cultivation bases, they were still suppressed to the point where their blood and chi roiled and their stomachs were shaken. This action caused everyone to subconsciously retreat into the distance. They only stopped when they were more than 100 zhang away from the person. Everyone felt helpless and sullen towards the two people who were fighting. If you want to fight, go fight somewhere else. You're making us lose face. No matter what, we're all from the same sect. Of course, no one would say this out loud, but they could still think about it. Who are you? Why did you attack me? At this moment, the young man who blocked the attack no longer felt relaxed. Instead, he was filled with anger. He wanted to prove himself, but, when he was halfway through his words, he saw the face of the person who attacked him, and he was stunned. Not bad, kid. I haven't seen you for 30 years, and you dare to talk to me like this, right? At this moment, looking at the young man in front of her, Xia Feng was stunned. She whispered with an amused smile. Hearing this, the young man was stunned. Then, he smiled bitterly. If it was someone else, he would have attacked her. Even if he killed her, it would not be a problem, but, thinking of Xia Feng's cultivation base, the young man felt helpless. He then begged for mercy, that, you too. I just came out and you attacked me. My good mood is gone. Tell me, how are you going to compensate me? The young man was not someone else. In the entire divine world, other than Lin Rei, there was only one person who could talk to Xia Feng like this. And the young man who was talking to Xia Feng at this moment was none other than Lin Rei. Get lost. Xia Feng retracted her hand and took a step forward. She asked with concern, how are you? Is there any danger inside? Did anyone hurt you? Let me see. After saying that, without waiting for Lin Rei's response, Xia Feng began to move her hands up and down his body affectionately and began to explore. Wait, Xia Feng. Feeling the strange feeling in his body in Xia Feng's boldness, Lin Rei suddenly felt a little uncomfortable. He then reached out and grabbed Xia Feng's hand to stop her next move. Looking at Lin Rei's behavior, Xia Feng looked at Lin Rei with a puzzled look, as if she was looking for an explanation. In this regard, Lin Rei did not disappoint. He knew what Xia Feng was thinking. Without waiting for her to speak, he explained that. Okay, I know you care about me, but I'm really fine. Besides, do you think that someone as powerful as me will be hurt? Boom, as he spoke, a terrifying power surged out of Linley's body and spread out in all directions. The spiritual energy in his body was endless, and it was extremely dense. Peak of the intermediate ultimate god realm? Feeling Lin Rei's cultivation, Yi Lingshan's expression was so strange. Yi Lingshan remembered that he was just an emperor god when he entered the divine realm. He didn't expect that in 30 years, in just 30 years, Linley would rise by 2 or 3 levels. No matter which realm he was in, this was an inconceivable thing. Even if he had survived from the untainted age, he was still very surprised. At this moment, Xia Feng really wanted to dissect Lin Rei. She wanted to see what kind of structure Lin Rei was made of. Since he stepped into the world of cultivation, in less than 4,000 years, he had gone from a nobody to an existence that could make the divine realm tremble with a stomp of his feet. How is it? Not bad, right? Looking at Xia Feng's dazed expression, Lin Rei was slightly delighted. Although Lin Rei's cultivation had advanced very quickly, Xia Feng knew that she could not say anything nice when she saw Lin Rei's proud expression. She did not want to take advantage of Lin Rei. His face immediately changed, and a look of disdain appeared in his eyes as he stared at Linley. And here I was wondering how powerful you were. Aren't you just a peak middle ultimate god? Why don't you beat me down if you can? If you don't have the ability, then don't talk so much. Don't show off your cultivation in front of me. It's not that I look down on you, but I don't care about your cultivation at all. Lin Rei, these words were like a sharp knife stabbing into Linley's heart. There was nothing Linley could do about this. Whoosh, whoosh, the atmosphere suddenly became quiet. Xie Feng knew that she might have gone overboard with her words. When the scene was quiet, a few figures that Xie Feng was familiar with appeared. Pai Xiu, Ba Bao, Jade-faced Rakshasa, Jia Yang and the others all walked out from the golden light barrier of the ancient corpse trove. You guys came out. Looking at them, Xie Feng skipped over Lin Rei and greeted Pai Xiu and the others. Nonsense, if we don't come back, are we going to live inside? Hearing Xie Feng's greeting, Pai Xiu Nianpa stared blankly, then turned his head and muttered. You. Hearing Pai Xiu's words, Xie Feng felt helpless. She did not know why, but as long as the two of them met, they would either fight or quarrel. They were very accurate and never missed anything. Looking at them, Lin Rei threw the unpleasantness to the back of his mind and stepped forward to stop them. Alright, you guys can ask. What should I say? It's always like this. Sure enough, once Lin Rei spoke, everyone shut up. Even Xie Feng, who had a strong cultivation, was no exception. The scene instantly calmed down. Looking at this result, Lin Rei revealed a smile and continued. Now that the matter here is over, what do you guys plan to do? Hearing this, everyone was stunned. Their eyes were filled with doubt. They did not understand what Lin Rei meant. Looking at everyone's doubtful eyes, Lin Rei knew that he did not express himself clearly. Then he continued to explain. What I mean is that the matter here is over. I plan to leave the inner layer of the divine world and head to the outer layer. There are some things that I need to do. Also, TSK, I haven't returned to the sect for a long time. It's time for me to go back and take a look. After all, my family, wife, son, and disciple are there. After saying that, he looked at them. What about you guys? I want to go back. What do you guys plan to do? Wait for me here? Or, Brat, you just came out and you want to send us away? At this moment, hearing Lin Rei's words, Xie Feng was not willing. Her face instantly turned cold and she frowned. I've been waiting for you for so long. What do you want to do? Facing Xie Feng's sudden temper, Lin Rei was also speechless. He did not refute. He knew that if he refuted now, there would be a storm of nagging behind. Ignoring Xie Feng, he turned around and looked at Pai Xiu and the others. What about you guys? What do you guys plan to do? I'll follow you. After all, I'm also a member of your Xuanzong sect. I need to go back and recognize the sect. Otherwise, how undutiful would I be? At this moment, Jia Yang said without thinking. That's right. Besides, although your cultivation has increased, there is still a long way to go from here to the outer layer. Without me, how long do you think you'll take? A few months? A year or two? At this moment, Pai Xiu said. When those words came out, Lin Rei was speechless. Pai Xiu was right. If it was him, it would probably take 1 or 2 years just to go to the outer layer. At this moment, there were less than 6 years left until the 100-year deadline. He could not afford to delay. On the side, 8th Baby had a hesitant expression as if he was thinking about his marriage. I'll leave first. I've been away for so long and I'm afraid that something will happen to the store. So. At this moment, the jade-faced Rakshasa said. If that's the case, then leave. Lin Rei did not think too highly of the jade-faced Rakshasa's departure. After all, Lin Rei did not think highly of her. If that's the case, the mountains will not change and the rivers will flow forever. See you again. Seeing Lin Rei nod, the jade-faced Rakshasa revealed a smile. She cupped her hands at the crowd and found the right direction before leaving in a flash. Only after watching the jade-faced Rakshasa's back disappear into the horizon did Linley retract his gaze. He once more turned his gaze to 8th treasure. Linley felt rather helpless in the face of Eighth Treasure's contemplation. As time quietly passed, the people in the ancient corpse trove appeared in twos and threes. In the blink of an eye, 2 hours had passed. However, Eighth Baby was still in a dilemma. Lin Ray did not want to wait any longer. Without waiting for Eighth Baby to express his thoughts, he directly said, "Okay, you don't need to think about it. Just leave with me." Eighth Baby was stunned at these sudden words. He wanted to refute, but just as he said the word "I," he felt a devouring force wrap around him. His vision blurred, and when he recovered, he found that he was no longer at the entrance of the ancient corpse trove. Instead, he found himself in a mysterious space. There were mountains and rivers here. It was very beautiful, and the spiritual chi was abundant. It was several times denser than the outside world. Eighth Baby was stunned by this. "What is this place?" Eighth Baby asked subconsciously. He had a stunned expression on his face and was particularly eye-catching. "You don't need to know. You only need to know that you won't encounter any danger here. Instead, there are many benefits." Looking at Eighth Baby's current appearance, Lin Ray revealed a smile and reminded him before exiting the system. Hearing Lin Ray's voice, Eighth Baby looked around, trying to find Lin Ray's figure. Unfortunately, he could not find him in the end. "Okay, this place is pretty good too." Looking at the picturesque space around him, a smile appeared on his face. Then, he found a quiet place, sat down, and began to cultivate. When she saw that the 8 treasures had entered a state of cultivation, she smiled and felt completely at ease. Chu Xiai and Yunkai greet the young master. At this moment, Chu Xiai and Yunkai, who had been at the back, quickly stepped forward and bowed. "Okay." Hearing Chu Xi's words, Linley completely exited the system. He looked up at the two of them. The hairspray. The two of them had become even more refined. It could be said that Linley had spent quite a bit of effort on them, especially Chu Xiai, who still had a bit of his own illusory bloodfire. Looking at them, Lin Ray did not give them a chance to choose. He directly said, "The two of you will follow me back to the sect. I have something to tell you during this period." Hearing this, the two of them were overjoyed and quickly responded, "Yes, we will follow the young master's orders." "Okay, then it's all right." Seeing that the matter was settled, his gaze fell on Pai Xiu. "Let's go. I'll have to trouble you for the next period of time." "Hee, boy, you can still say such words. It's not easy, huh?" Hearing Lin Ray's words, to be honest, Pai Xiu felt a little uncomfortable in his heart. However, in the end, he accepted it. With a boom, Pai Xiu transformed into its original form. Its 100-feet figure instantly appeared in front of everyone. Suddenly, the scene was in an uproar. Looking at the giant beast that suddenly appeared, everyone subconsciously retreated. At this moment, their eyes were filled with panic. Lin Ray did not have the chance to see everyone's reaction. He said something to Xie Feng and Jie Yang, then jumped onto Pai Xiu's back. "Let's go." Like Lin Ray, he said something to Jie Yang and jumped onto Pai Xiu's back. As for Jie Yang, it was not the first time. Under Lin Ray and Yunsai's urging gazes, he jumped onto Pai Xiu's back. In an instant, Pai Xiu, who was ready to attack, flew towards the entrance of the outer layer at full speed the moment Jie Yang jumped onto its back. Chapter 8:10. The departure of Lin Ray and the rest brought peace and quiet to the entrance of the ancient corpse trove. The previous restlessness, fear, and panic were gone. At this moment, looking at Lin Ray and the rest leaving, everyone couldn't help but let out a long sigh of relief. Their faces revealed an indescribable sense of relief. They finally left. Heavens, who are those people? Just the aftermath of their battle was so powerful. And what was that demonic beast? Yeah, such a powerful existence. It shouldn't be unknown in the divine world. Then, what is it? Pai Xiu, heavens, could that beast be a Pai Xiu from the desolate era? One by one, questions emerged in Lin Rei's mind. Unfortunately, there was no one to answer their questions at this moment. Time passed by slowly. Everyone who entered the ancient corpse trove, including those who died, all walked out. A day passed by quietly. Finally, the golden barrier that shot up to the sky closed the entrance to the ancient corpse trove at the last second of the day. The golden barrier disappeared. Everyone looked at the entrance with a dignified gaze. Their faces were filled with joy, fear, and an indescribable feeling. But there was one thing that everyone present had in mind. It was that they didn't want to come here again in their lifetime, let alone enter the ancient corpse trove. It wasn't that they didn't want to, but they really didn't have the ability. The ancient corpse trove was far more terrifying than they thought. They couldn't bear it, and they couldn't bear the exhaustion of the ancient corpse trove. Just this time alone, there were hundreds of people who entered, but only less than 100 came out. They couldn't bear this kind of damage, and they couldn't bear it. The golden barrier disappeared. Everyone's heart was completely calm at this moment. The original nervousness also calmed down at this moment. Seeing that the ancient corpse trove was over, everyone sighed. They raised their head with a relaxed smile on their faces. They cupped their hands to the people they knew, nodded, and said a few polite words. Then, they hurriedly left the entrance of the ancient corpse trove and flew towards their own sections. Hundreds and thousands of figures shot up into the sky like shooting stars, disappearing into the horizon. The scene was extremely shocking. Basically, all of the almighty figures from every level of the god world were gathered here. Such a scene was rare even in 100 years, 1,000 years, or even 10,000 years. Just like this, following the departure of the crowd, the originally bustling entrance of the ancient corpse trove had once again become a desolate place. Once again, it became a desolate, and forbidden place, once again becoming an untouchable place in the hearts of everyone. In the north, in Wuzhou, a middle-aged man sat in the best hall of the Nine Heavens Xuanzong Sect on Tianlong Mountain. 2 people stood beside him, and dozens of people stood below him. At this moment, the atmosphere was extremely tense. No one said anything. Everyone was looking at the people in the upper seats, as if they were thinking about something. He believed that if Lin Rei was here, he would definitely recognize everyone here. Because these people were his brothers, friends, and division leaders who had fought alongside him. The person sitting at the top was none other than the current sect master of the Nine Heavens Xuanzong Sect, Lin Rei's second son. Sigh. Looking at the silent crowd, Lin Yun let out a long sigh. He turned to the middle-aged man with a ferocious expression and asked, "Uncle Bai, how is it? Is there any news of my father? It's been 100 years. Almost 100 years. Father, he's still." As he spoke, Lin Yun's eyes involuntarily moistened. He missed Lin Rei no less than anyone else. Hearing Lin Yun's question, the middle-aged man called Uncle Bai revealed a disappointed expression. He shrugged helplessly. No. After so many years, the young master seems to have evaporated into thin air. There's no news in the divine realm at all. Back then, even when we sent out the sect's disciples, they couldn't find any news. But, as he spoke, he seemed to have thought of something. Suddenly, Uncle Bai froze. What? There's news of my father? Lin Yun asked excitedly when he saw Uncle Bai's reaction. Looking at Lin Yun, Uncle Bai revealed a troubled expression. Actually, I'm not very sure either. I've only heard rumors. I heard that the young master appeared at the entrance of the 9th province. And now, there's no news of the young master in the other 8 provinces. So, I'm guessing that the young master might have entered the 9th province. The 9th province? Hearing this, Lin Yun calmed down. He knew that in the 9th province, many sects had appeared in the 9th province. Moreover, they had begun to wreak havoc in the other 8 provinces. Even the Heavenly Dragon Mountain in the Wu province had suffered a sneak attack a few decades ago. At that time, the cultivation of the other party was very powerful. There were many god emperors. This time, it would be difficult for Lin Yun to escape this calamity. But who would have thought that just as Lin Rei's heart was about to die, Bai Qi and a few others who had fought with Lin Rei before stood out and turned the tide with their powerful cultivation. From then on, the Xuanzong sect's name spread throughout the 8 provinces. No one dared to do anything to the Xuanzong sect. Yes, the 9th province. Looking at Lin Yun's solemn expression, Uncle Bai nodded and continued, "How about it? Do you want me to go there personally, or..." The person who spoke was called Uncle Bai by Lin Yun. Uncle Bai was none other than Bai Qi, the general that Lin Rei had summoned. The person beside him was none other than Jian Wei, who had been summoned together with Bai Qi. Lin Rei's cultivation was already at the mid-stage ultimate god realm. As a general summoned by Lin Rei, he had already reached the peak of the ultimate god realm when Lin Rei broke through to the ultimate god realm. As long as Lin Rei broke through to the saint realm, as a general, he would immediately have the strength of a Dao fruit saint in the great perfection realm. This was the terrifying thing about a general. When Lin Yun heard this, he immediately stood up and said, "No need, no need. Uncle Bai, you just need to guard the sect. As for this matter, leave it to the others. It just so happens that the Xuanzong sect's position in the 8th province is already unshakable. If we attack the 9th province, wouldn't our Xuanzong sect be..." As he spoke, Lin Yun's face was filled with pride. At this moment, Lin Yun even thought of himself entering the 9th province with the Xuanzong sect. If his father saw that scene, then, he would definitely be praised. What he needed the most was not the position of the sect master of the Xuanzong sect, but the praise and care of his father who had not returned for a long time. Bai Qi, who understood Lin Yun's thoughts, smiled and nodded. Yes, in that case, the young master will definitely be very pleased. Don't you all think so? After saying that, Bai Qi tossed those words to everyone present. Instantly, everyone present nodded their heads with smiles on their faces in praise. Yes, yes, the young master will be pleased when he sees you. Yes, 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 I agree with this idea, I agree. At this moment, everyone expressed their opinions. Looking at the praise and nodding of everyone below, Lin Yun smiled. He smiled very happily. As for Lin Yun's thoughts, as Lin Yun's father, Lin Yun had no idea. At this moment, a group of people was approaching Jade City's gate. The young man in the lead had a face full of smiles and excitement, as if there was something that made him very happy. Behind him was another young man, but his expression was completely different from the young man in the lead. He looked at everything in front of him in a daze and walked to the side of the young man in the lead. He said, "Is this our destination this time? It doesn't look like the city we're in is flourishing." Sigh. Hearing this, the young man in the lead sighed and explained, "All right, don't be so picky. This place is already very good. If it were in the lower realm, I'm afraid that only the imperial capital would have such a grand scale." While speaking, the young man in the lead didn't stop as though something was chasing after him. "Yes, little world Yang. Just make do. You have to know that Lin Rei's starting point is even better than the town near the entrance of the ancient corpse trove, not to mention this place." Pishio, do you want to die? At this time, Linley, who was the leader, was unwilling. He turned his head and said threateningly with a cold face. That's right, this group of people was none other than Lin Rei's group who came out from the lower realm of the divine world. It had been a year since the last time they were in the ancient corpse trove. During this year, Lin Rei and the others flew day and night without stopping. Apart from taking a break when they couldn't take it anymore, the rest of the time was spent on the journey. Finally, after a year, Lin Rei brought everyone here. They came to the place that made Lin Rei's teeth itch. They came to the Jade City that made him suffer. After being born, seeing Lin Rei's threatening gaze, the Pishio that was laughing suddenly shut up and didn't speak anymore. However, because of the Pishio's words, it attracted World Yang's attention. He wanted to know and wanted to see how a place that didn't even go to the town near the ancient corpse trove could give birth to such a powerful and heaven-defying monster. Enough. Suddenly, a cold voice broke the atmosphere. The person who spoke was none other than the only woman in the group, Xie Feng. Looking at the playful Pishio, Xie Feng was stunned. She looked at the Pishio and said, "Can you be quiet for a while? It's been so long and you still have such a bad habit. Aren't you afraid of being suppressed because of this?" You. Hearing this, the Pishio couldn't take it anymore. It looked at Xie Feng with hostility. If it wasn't for Lin Rei being here, if it wasn't for the fact that its cultivation hadn't recovered yet, if it wasn't for the fact that it was afraid of harming the innocent, it would have already taken action. In front, Lin Rei who was walking felt the smoke behind him. The flames of war were about to erupt. Lin Rei powerlessly turned around. His originally cold face revealed a trace of a smile. He persuaded, "You two, when can you really stay together for 2 days? It hasn't even been a while and you're already fighting. Tell me, I will also feel tired. It's very difficult for me to be like this. Moreover." As he spoke, he pointed at the restaurant at the side and said, "Moreover, I still have something to do. You two can stay in this restaurant. When I'm done, I'll come back to find you too, don't say no." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Rei who knew Xie Feng very well hurriedly said, "I won't go far. I'll be in Xiong City, so you don't have to follow me. When I'm done, we'll set off for Tianlong Mountain." That's settled. As he spoke, he didn't wait for Xie Feng and the other to refute. He immediately activated his cultivation and disappeared from the spot with a teleport. F*CK, this brat. After a while, the Pishio and the other came back to their senses. Looking at the empty place, the Pishio directly scolded, "This brat, when we were in Xiong City, I didn't think there were any friends of this brat here." Yeah. Hearing the Pishio's words, Xie Feng also responded thoughtfully. As for their words, Lin Rei already couldn't hear them. He ignored them and left Xie Feng and the others. Following the memory in his mind, he came to the alley that he regretted. Staring at the seemingly bottomless alleyway, Linley was stunned. And then, he began to walk forward, one step at a time, towards the image of the guest from the Cloud Clan, who he had so much disdain for. Step by step, although he didn't walk fast, it was actually very fast. One step was 100 meters. At this moment, Lin Rei only wanted to settle the matter here as soon as possible. He didn't have much time and didn't have the time to waste here. Slowly, the words, "guest from the clouds," that annoyed Lin Rei appeared in front of Lin Rei's eyes. At the same time, accompanying the words was the magic array formed by the runes. "Ah! Guest from the clouds, Granny Cheong, I'm back." Facing the guest from the clouds in front of him, Lin Rei sighed for a while. Then, he took a step forward and suddenly stepped into the magic array. Jia, there was a sound that seemed to open the door to one's soul. Hearing the strange sound coming from the front, Linley raised his head and saw the person he wanted to see walk out from the group of guests from the cloud realm. He was at the door, looking at him with a dangerous expression. Looking at her, Lin Rei did not smile at all. His expression was cold as he quickly walked over and said, "I got what you wanted. Where's my antidote?" At this moment, the person who appeared in front of Lin Rei was none other than the owner of the guest from the clouds, Granny Cheong, who would stay here for eternity. "Ha, I knew it." Hearing Lin Rei's words, Granny Cheong's eyes became wet and an excited smile appeared on her face. "I knew you could do it." Seeing Granny Cheong's expression, Lin Rei was quite surprised. Evidently, Lin Rei had not expected Granny Cheong to be so excited. However, even though he was surprised, how could Lin Rei not be worried about his antidote? After all, there wasn't much time left, and he didn't have that much time to waste here. Ignoring Granny Cheong's excitement, he stretched out his hand and said, "Give me my antidote." Chapter 8:11. Despite the young man's anxiousness, Granny Cheong didn't hand over the antidote to Lin Ray. Instead, she gestured for him to enter the cloud inn. Young man, what's the hurry? Anyway, we're already here. What's wrong? Are you afraid that I'll harm you? Granny Cheong asked, looking at Lin Ray's vigilant expression. Lin Ray was speechless at Granny Cheong's reaction. He thought that after the transaction, they would go their separate ways. You have your open road, and I have my single plank bridge. But now things had turned out this way. There was nothing Linley could do about this. After all, this was the enemy's territory. Although he wasn't as fearful of Granny Cheong as he had been in the past, Linley was still extremely fearful of the formation outside. Please. Granny Cheong gestured for him to enter again. Then, she didn't wait for Lin Ray like before. Instead, she stepped into the cloud inn. Sigh. Lin Ray felt helpless looking at Granny Cheong's reaction. After all, she hadn't handed over the antidote and his secret was still in her hands. He let out a sigh and stepped into this place that he never wanted to enter. As soon as he entered the cloud inn, he found that it was completely desolate. It was completely different from when he left. This place was no longer bustling with life, nor was it filled with wine and meat. It was no longer filled with the aroma of wine and meat. Aside from an old smell and a cold, gloomy feeling, Linley couldn't sense anything else. Seeing how much this place had changed, for a moment, Linley was stunned. He wasn't quite used to the changes in this place. Back then, he was lured in by the fragrance of wine and meat. But now, at this moment, Granny Cheong, who was walking in front, sensed Lin Ray's mood and expression and suddenly spoke. Heh. What's wrong? Do you feel that this place is different from before? This. For a moment, Lin Ray, who wasn't prepared, stammered and didn't know what to say. To be honest, this place had changed a lot, but because of this, Lin Ray was even more vigilant. Although this place was no longer as guarded as it had been before, it still gave Linley an oppressive feeling. Actually, this place has been busy for a long time. Lin Ray's hemming and hawing confirmed Granny Cheong's words. In response, Granny Cheong smiled, a very bleak smile. Long ago? How long? Lin Ray didn't quite understand what Granny Cheong meant by early. The concept of early was a huge compensation, so, how long? Turning to look at Lin Ray, Granny Cheong muttered to herself, it's been a long, long time. I remember that the last time someone came, it was in front of 100,000 people. What? Lin Ray couldn't help but exclaim, his face full of shock and horror. In front of 100,000? That's impossible. 100 years ago, I saw this place flourishing, with people drinking wine. Why do you say it's been 100,000 years? As he spoke, Lin Ray couldn't help but recall the scene when he first came here. If it was an illusion, the system didn't remind him, and he also felt that the scene back then was very real. Then, if it wasn't an illusion, what could make Granny Cheong say that it was in front of 100,000 people? At this moment, Lin Ray's mind was completely confused. He didn't know if it was his illusion, or if Granny Cheong was old and had forgotten something. Granny Cheong looked at Lin Ray, whose expression was very rich at this moment, and smiled. Illusion, Jade Sky illusion, is a type of illusion that can change. It is an illusion that can make gods and devils go crazy. It is a type of illusion that can deceive everyone. Even a saint wouldn't be able to see through it. Jade Sky illusion? This name had a big impact on Lin Ray. Lin Ray had never heard of this illusion, especially when he heard that even a saint wouldn't be able to see through it. What level would it take to do that? TSK, TSK, TSK. Jade Sky illusion, I haven't heard this name for a long time. Suddenly, when Lin Ray was puzzled, the system spoke. And from the system's tone, it seemed that it was very familiar with the Jade Sky illusion. You know about it? Lin Ray asked. He really wanted to know how powerful this illusion was that it could make him run around in circles. Sigh. Looking at Lin Rei's expression, the system didn't hide the truth and told him about the Jade Sky illusion. Yes, Jade Sky illusion, it is a very ancient illusion, a kind of illusion that doesn't belong to this place. Doesn't belong to this place? Lin Rei was even more confused about the system's words at this moment. What did it mean that it didn't belong to this place? Since it didn't belong to this place, where did it belong? Now, more and more mysteries were coming in, which made Lin Rei feel confused. At this moment, he felt like an ignorant ant that didn't know anything, like an idiot. Looking at Lin Rei's appearance, the system explained, Jade Sky illusion, as for its origin, you don't need to know. But you can know that its strength is not inferior to all the combat techniques that you are practicing now. Of course, the strength of the Jasper illusions lies not in its offensive power, but in its illusions. The things it conjures up are very real. Just as Granny Cheong said, even if the saints or Hongjun of the Tao fusing were to come, they might not be able to tell whether it's an illusion or reality. Hiss. Listening to the system's explanation, Lin Rei couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. If such a powerful illusion was used to save one's life, wouldn't that be, heh, you little brat? The system naturally knew what Lin Rei was thinking. It was speechless about Lin Rei's thoughts at this moment, but it had to admit that what Lin Rei thought was true. Generally, the Jade Sky illusion was used to save one's life. Moreover, the most important thing was that this kind of technique was very difficult to practice. The necessary condition to practice it was that the person who practiced it must be a woman, and a woman with the heavenly Yuan body. System, you can't practice it even if he did. Knowing what Lin Rei wanted to ask, the system didn't wait for him to speak and directly rejected him. The system decisively rejected him. Lin Rei felt helpless in his heart. To be honest, he liked the Jade Sky illusion very much. After all, he had been living a life of licking blood on the edge of a knife and was constantly worried about his life. So, after hearing about the benefits of this illusion, Lin Rei was tempted. However, in the early stages of being tempted, the system woke him up with a slap. You little brat, you can't practice this Jade Sky illusion, unless you castrate yourself, otherwise, forget it. Originally, he thought that the system didn't allow him to practice it, but now that he heard the necessary condition to practice it, it turned out to be, for a moment, Lin Rei decisively rejected it. After all, Lin Rei didn't want to waste the rest of his life for a technique. Heh, looking at Lin Rei's current appearance, the system smiled and didn't think much about it. Then, it went into silence. At this moment, Granny Cheong was sitting on a chair, looking at him with eyes full of expectation. For a moment, Lin Rei's body trembled. Then, with a thought, he took out the Corpse King pill from his storage ring. He looked at Granny Cheong, then at the Corpse King pill in his hand. Then, with a firm expression, he said to Song Pa, "This is the Corpse King pill you wanted. Take it." After saying that, Lin Rei casually threw the Corpse King pill to Granny Cheong. "Thank you." When Granny Cheong saw the Corpse King pill being tossed into the air, a teardrop fell from her eyes as she spoke to Nan and I. Although Granny Cheong's voice was very soft, Lin Rei heard it very clearly. In this regard, Lin Rei smiled and waiting for the antidote to arrive. At this time, the Corpse King pill fell into Granny Cheong's hands. Looking at the Corpse King pill in her hand, Granny Cheong was excited. It's this. Where's my antidote?" Looking at Granny Cheong's excited appearance, Lin Rei couldn't help but ask. "Yes, for you." "Huh?" Hearing Granny Cheong's decisiveness, Lin Rei was stunned. Previously, Lin Rei felt that Granny Cheong was a little reluctant to give him the antidote, but now, however, looking at Granny Cheong excitedly looking at the Corpse King pill in her hand, Lin Rei attributed Granny Cheong's decisiveness to the Corpse King pill and felt relieved. Looking at the bottle, Lin Rei immediately took out a red pill from the bottle. It was colorless and odorless. Lin Ray didn't think too much about it because he didn't believe that a Sage Realm Elder would do such a despicable thing. The red pill instantly melted in his mouth and rushed into his limbs and bones. Phew. Finally, the poison that threatened my life for 100 years is gone. Lin Ray exhaled. At this moment, he felt very relaxed. After all, the knife that had been hanging over his head was gone, and he felt much better. After detoxifying the poison, his body relaxed. Looking at Granny Cheong, who was still unable to extricate herself from her excitement, Lin Ray bowed and said, "Granny Cheong, since this humble one has found the item for you, this humble one has fulfilled his promise. Now that we no longer have any relationship of interest, this humble one, are you sure?" The sudden question instantly stunned Lin Ray. Granny Cheong pulled herself out of her excitement and looked at Lin Ray with an expression of certainty. Granny Cheong smiled, but Lin Ray felt that this smile was very strange. Looking at Granny Cheong's eyes, Lin Ray suddenly felt as if he were being stared at by a poisonous snake. At this moment, Lin Ray felt uncomfortable all over. At the same time, Linley, who had sensed that something was off, immediately began to use his inner vision to investigate. System, check if there was any poison in the pill I just ate. At the same time, check my body to see if there is anything wrong. While checking his body, he asked the system for help. Okay, don't worry. At this moment, the system felt that the atmosphere was oppressive and wasn't as self-centered as before. The atmosphere suddenly became quiet. Normally, nothing good would happen in a quiet atmosphere. Chapter 8:12. Time followed Lin Ray's rapid heartbeat. Slowly, after searching for nothing, Lin Ray placed his last hope on the system. He believed that the system should be able to find something. Coming back to his senses and waiting for the system's answer, Lin Ray glanced at Granny Cheong, who was looking at him. At this moment, there was no hope in Lin Ray's eyes, only coldness, killing intent, and endless killing intent. In the past, he had always been the leader, but now he had been played by this old lady time and time again. This made Lin Ray feel aggrieved and want to fight. But now, this old lady still had something on him. He couldn't move. At the same time, when Lin Ray looked at Granny Cheong also looked at Lin Ray. Their eyes met. Looking at Lin Ray, Granny Cheong smiled, "Boy, this time, do me a favor. I promise, just this time, after this, I will definitely give you the antidote. What do you think?" "Humph, help." Looking at Granny Cheong's threatening smile, Lin Ray couldn't imagine her pleading attitude. Of course, even if Granny Cheong showed that kind of pleading attitude, after this time, not to mention helping, just looking at her made Lin Ray's eyes hurt. Moreover, at this moment, he wanted to kill Granny Cheong, so how could he help? Yes, help. Seeing Lin Ray's sneer, Granny Cheong's expression didn't change. She still looked at Lin Ray with a smile. "This is not a big or small favor. You can definitely do it, and it will be very easy. Oh, by the way, the poison I gave you is only enough for you to last for 50 years. Within 50 years, if you don't get back what I want, I think I don't need to tell you what the consequences will be, right?" At that moment, Lin Ray was speechless. 50 years. Even if he did help, 50 years, he didn't believe that helping Granny Cheong would be a small matter. Besides, when Granny Cheong threatened him with poison again, Lin Ray had already made up his mind. Even if he had to die for this favor, he would do it. It was for no other reason than the fact that he didn't want his life to be played around by others. He didn't like it, and was even more displeased. For a moment, Lin Ray didn't respond and the space became quiet again. Lin Ray didn't pay attention to Granny Cheong and focused all his attention on the system. He was waiting for the system's answer. No matter what the answer was, Lin Ray decided not to help Granny Cheong anymore. In the blink of an eye, 6 hours had passed. During these 6 hours, Lin Ray felt as if a century had passed. Good. However, the Emperor of Heaven does not disappoint those who persevere. Finally, at this moment, Lin Rei waited for a reply from the system. What? What poison is it? Do you know? Lin Rei asked anxiously. I know. Seeing Lin Rei's anxious appearance, the system was able to ease the anxiety and didn't waste any more time. It directly informed him, it's a very strong poison. However, it's not that difficult to cure. I know how to, you know how to? Hearing this, Lin Rei's eyes lit up with delight. If the system could cure the poison, then why was he still wasting time here? Yes, I know how to. I have the antidote, but, tell me, how much do you want this time? Lin Rei knew that the system always took advantage of people when they were in trouble, so before the system finished speaking, Lin Rei directly spoke. Only Lin Rei knows me well. Seeing that Lin Rei was so understanding, the system suddenly smiled and said, actually, it's not much. Due to the strength of the poison, so, for now, just say how much, don't beat around the bush. Just say it. Lin Rei directly rolled his eyes at the system's hesitation and urged it. 3 million, just 3 million exchange points. Finally, the system said the level of the antidote. You, damn it. To Lin Li, this was an acceptable number. After all, this concerned his own life. How about it, do you want it? Or... Ignoring Lin Rei's expression, the system spoke. Sigh. Glancing at Granny Cheong, Lin Rei sighed and nodded helplessly. Yes, hurry up and give me the antidote. Hearing this, the system was of course happy. Okay, wait, I'll give it to you immediately. Saying this, the system's voice faded away, followed by the sound of a notification. Ding dong, purchase of antidote successful. Host, do you want to detoxify your body now? Isn't this nonsense? Of course, I'll detoxify it. Lin Rei was helpless at the system's question. Ding dong, okay, detoxification begins. Please wait a moment, boom, a terrifying medicinal power instantly appeared in his Dan palace. Following that, Lin Rei felt his entire body warm up, giving him the feeling of returning to his mother's embrace. This feeling made Lin Rei feel very comfortable. At the same time, this feeling told Lin Rei that he was indeed poisoned. Otherwise, he wouldn't feel this way. Thinking about this, the killing intent in the pit uncontrollably rushed out of his body and rushed towards Granny Cheong. Although Granny Cheong was a mid-stage Dao fruit saint, this was nothing to the current Lin Rei. In the ancient corpse trove, Lin Rei had killed many late-stage Dao fruit saints, not to mention Granny Cheong, who was only a mid-stage Dao fruit saint. Why? How could Granny Cheong not sense Lin Rei's enormous killing intent? However, what puzzled Granny Cheong was that she clearly had his life in her hands. Why was he still releasing such a powerful killing intent? This wasn't something an ordinary person could do. Of course, at this moment, she still didn't know that the poison she used was being removed by the system bit by bit. Granny Cheong, I originally thought that after completing this transaction with you, we would mind our own business. But you actually poisoned me again. As he spoke, his killing intent increased greatly. He clenched his fists and made a move like a sparrow wanting to fight. As the saying goes, you can do it once or twice, but you can't do it thrice. Now, since you're treating me like this, don't blame me for being impolite. What do you want to do? At this moment, Lin Rei said this. If that person didn't feel anything strange, then that person was a fool. What do I want to do? Looking at Granny Cheong, Lin Li let out a cold snort, then said, nothing much. I'm just going to add another formation to the ceiling formation outside. What? She was shocked and panicked. Inexplicably, hearing Lin Rei's words, Granny Cheong panicked and began to feel some regret in her heart. However, this feeling only flashed by and then disappeared. It was replaced by an impossible feeling. She knew how powerful the formation outside was. She didn't believe that the young man in front of her could inscribe a formation and integrate it with the formation outside. Ding dong, congratulations to the host. The poison in your body has been completely removed. Ding dong, purchase of the myriad spirit pill. 3 million exchange points have been deducted. Effective immediately. Do you approve? Hearing the system prompt, Linley relaxed at first. But when he heard the system prompt asking for money, Linley's heart was bleeding. However, there was nothing he could do. After all, compared to his own life, it was still very worth it. Approved. With a command, the system prompt sounded again. Ding dong, 3 million exchange points have been deducted. Please check the consumption information. F***CK. Hearing the system's words, Lin Ray was stunned and then scolded with a smile, F***CK. As for the guests from the clouds, seeing Linley's beaming face, the terror in Granny Cheong's heart once more rose to a new height. A sense of foreboding filled her heart. So be it. Looking at Granny Cheong, Lin Ray coldly stared at her and said, this time, this sovereign will let you know that poisoning this sovereign again and again is the stupidest thing you've done in your life. Whoosh, a clear light instantly appeared under Lin Ray's feet. In the next moment, Lin Ray disappeared. What? How is this possible? His speed. Granny Cheong stared at Linley. She watched as Linley suddenly disappeared in front of her. Instantly, Granny Cheong was stunned. She couldn't believe it. She remembered that 100 years ago, Linley had merely been a god emperor, and his speed had reached such a terrifying level. Granny Cheong had never imagined this, nor had she ever expected it. After being stunned for a moment, she turned around and activated her cultivation. She activated her movement technique and rushed out. Although she was not as fast as Lin Ray, she was still quite fast. Linley didn't have any chance to listen to the guests rushing out of the cloud realm. It wasn't that he didn't want to, but that he could. At this moment, if he couldn't rush out of the formation faster than Granny Cheong, then he would not only have to face Granny Cheong's attacks, but also the superposition of the formation. Linley wouldn't be so foolish as to think that he could withstand the attacks of the formation. Boy, come back. Otherwise, Granny Cheong's voice came from behind. After hearing this, Lin Ray's body trembled and he sped up again. At the same time, he communicated with the system and asked, quick, give me some energy. It's so close. I don't want to waste all my previous efforts. Sigh. You. Lin Ray did not refuse and only sighed. Then, he felt a surge of energy. A terrifying energy instantly appeared in his body, and it did not merge with his body. He felt a sense of confidence that he had never felt before. He felt the energy in his body for him to use. Suddenly, without hesitation, he used the dragon's subduing step and rushed out of the formation. Phew, looking at the outside world without the formation's aura, Lin Ray could not help but breathe a sigh of relief. At this moment, he did not have to worry about the danger of being restricted by the formation. You. How could you? At this moment, Granny Cheong's angry roar came from behind him. Turning to look at her, Linley's face was as cold as ice, and his hands were constantly forming one mysterious incantation after another. Granny Cheong, you brought this upon yourself. Since you dared to toy with me, then you should have thought about the consequences of my wrath. Chapter 8:13. No. No. Don't. She saw Lin Ray's hand seals and mysterious runes appeared in the air, flickering with a terrifying power. Granny Cheong knew about these runes. Although she wasn't a formation master, she knew that these were the runes that had controlled her for millions of years. She hated these runes to the core. Granny Cheong was shocked that Lin Ray didn't know about these runes. She never thought that this young man would know about them. Moreover, these runes were so powerful that she was afraid of them. No. Lin Rei sneered while looking at Granny Cheung. Just now. If you hadn't used poison on me, perhaps I would have parted ways with you. Maybe you would have left this place after a while. But of all the things you shouldn't have done, you shouldn't have poisoned me and played with my life. Even the heavenly emperor of the holy world, Hao Tian, couldn't do that. What gives you the right to do that? His voice was as cold as ice. He didn't stop. Instead, his hand seals became faster and faster. It was so fast that it confused everyone. The vague outline of a magic array appeared, and a terrifying sealing power rushed into the sky. Lin Rei created this rune based on the formation used to imprison Granny Cheung. Therefore, there was a peak venerable level formation under this rune. Thus, when the two joined forces, Lin Li believed that even if they weren't able to set up a saint-level formation, they would at least be able to set up a saint-level formation. Moreover, this was Lin Rei's first time trying to combine the two. What was even more difficult was that Lin Rei didn't have a sealing formation. This made it even more difficult. No. Don't. Young man, I was wrong. I was possessed. It's all my fault. Please don't be so heartless and seal me again. I can't take this blow anymore. Too late. Without waiting for Granny Cheung to speak again, the spell formation was complete. It was a shocking sealing spell formation that had just been completed. Firmament seal for me. Suddenly, a formation formed by mysterious runes and formations appeared. Asterisk boom, asterisk with a loud rumble, it soared into the sky, and the array instantly expanded, enveloping the entire Yunlai Ku alley within the array. Fuse. With a low roar, Lin Li saw that there was a slight pause in the formation that was about to seal the visitor from the cloud realm. In an instant, with his sharp eyes and agile hands, and with the help of the system, he instantly executed the firmament seal, fusing the formation with the formation. Boom. Suddenly, there was a muffled sound and a bright light flashed. The formation that had been dimmed due to the passage of time seemed to reignite its former glory after Lin Rei's formation fused with it. How is this possible? How can you possibly set up a formation that can fuse with this world-shocking formation? Astonishment, shock, panic, and disbelief. All kinds of complicated emotions appeared in Granny Cheung's eyes. Of course, most of them were regret. She didn't expect this result. If she knew, she wouldn't have poisoned Lin Rei. Looking at Granny Cheung's shocked and painful appearance, Lin Rei's evil intentions finally disappeared. It's useless to regret. Lin Rei looked at Granny Cheung and coldly shouted, "You can stay here at ease. Perhaps at some point in time, when I remember, I might let you out. But before that, you should change your current bad habits. Otherwise. Not to mention when you go out, I might kill you. Even with the protection of this formation, you can try." Granny Cheung wanted to retort in response to Lin Li's rebuke, but what else could she say? The winner was the king, while the loser was the bandit. Since she had already lost, all she could do was obediently admit defeat. Granny Cheung had nothing to say. This was the truth she had understood for so many years. That's enough. You can live your life here. He gave Granny Cheung one last glance and then walked out of the alley without paying any attention to her. On the way, Lin Rei smiled. After all, this matter was finally over. How could he not be happy? Of course, he also had another thought. He was about to return to the sect and see his family and descendants. He couldn't help but smile more. On the way, Lin Rei hurried to the restaurant Jia Yang and the others rented. He didn't order the front desk. He released his divine sense and instantly found the room they were in. When he arrived at the restaurant, he directly walked into the backyard and came to the door of Jia Yang's room. Knock, knock, knock. Gently, Lin Rei knocked on Jia Yang's door. "Jia Yang, I'm Lin Rei." "Open the door." Lin Rei. Jia Yang was stunned when he heard the familiar voice. He quickly got up and went to the door. When he opened the door, he saw Lin Rei's familiar face. Looking at Lin Rei, Jia Yang smiled and nodded. How was it? Did you solve the matter here? Hee hee. Lin Rei smiled at Jia Yang's question and replied. Of course. Moreover, it was done perfectly. I believe that I won't come here again. Jia Yang felt that Lin Rei's words were strange. He didn't think too much about it. After all, this was Lin Rei's matter. Looking at Jia Yang, Lin Rei nodded and said. Let's go. Come with me. We've been away from home for so long. It's a bit, okay, let's go. I also want to go up and take a look and see if there are any good things I can buy. Understanding Lin Lei's intentions, Jia Yang didn't even need to think before he nodded and agreed. Seeing Jia Yang agree so readily, Lin Rei was happy. He impatiently turned around and walked towards the door. Jia Yang was a bit stunned by Lin Rei's impatience. This was because it was different from the usual Lin Rei. He shook his head and threw all those thoughts to the back of his mind. Then, he quickly chased after Lin Rei. Jade City, on the flowery street. Lin Rei and Jia Yang came out of the restaurant. They looked left and right. Whenever there was a shop that was new, the two of them would go in and check it out. Even if it was a shop that sold women's clothing, the two of them weren't afraid. After all, their purpose for coming here was to buy something for their family. There seems to be something lively up ahead. Just as Lin Rei came out of a shop, Jia Yang curiously noticed something. He immediately shook Lin Rei and said. Lively? Lin Rei was stunned by Jia Yang's words. Then, he turned his head and looked at the direction Jia Yang pointed at. He saw a very big pavilion. It was dazzling in gold and jade. It was majestic and gave people a feeling of looking up. Looking at the tall building, Lin Rei was stunned. He had to admit that when he saw this kind of place, Lin Rei already had the thought of going in to check it out. After all, there weren't many of these kinds of buildings. Moreover, Lin Rei could feel that there was an obscure and powerful aura in the pavilion. With curiosity, Lin Rei nodded and agreed. Okay, since that's the case, let's go. Okay, let's go. Seeing that Lin Rei agreed, Jia Yang took a step forward and appeared a few zhang away. Sigh. Seeing Jia Yang like that, Lin Rei sighed and immediately chased after him. The two of them quickly arrived in front of the tall building. They raised their heads and saw the words Baiyuan Trading Company in front of them. Baiyuan Trading Company? Looking at the signboard, Lin Rei was puzzled. He remembered that when he first came here, this place didn't seem to be here. Wei, today is our trading company's auction that only happens once in 1,000 years. I wonder if you're interested in going in? At this moment, just when Lin Rei was looking at the words Baiyuan Trading Company and felt puzzled, a voice suddenly pulled Lin Rei back to reality from his puzzlement. Lowering his head, Lin Rei was stunned when he saw the young man in front of him. Then, he nodded and said, an auction that only happens once in 1,000 years. I think the number of people who can enter must be very high, right? There was no doubt that Lin Rei knew a little about the rules. After all, his sect had opened a trading company before. Moreover, those places could be found in the entire immortal world. Sure enough, after hearing Lin Rei's words, the young man was stunned. He couldn't help but chuckle and nodded. It seems that this guest is a guest? Guest. Guest. Hearing the young man's words, Lin Rei couldn't help but think. After all, this word would only be used when visiting prostitutes. Hee, that's right. You can enter. The entrance fee is 10,000 low-grade divine crystals. Ordinary seats cost low-grade divine crystals. If you want, there's no need to say any more. Lin Rei didn't care about the price that the young man mentioned. After all, when they went to the ancient corpse trove, they found a divine crystal mine. That, if you think it's too expensive, we can give you a discount. You. At this moment, Lin Rei didn't need to say any more. The young man thought that Lin Rei thought it was too expensive and immediately said. However, when Lin Rei opened his mouth again, the young man was stunned. Seeing the young man's reaction, Lin Rei chuckled and said, "Actually, what I mean is that there's no need to say the ordinary price. Just tell me the private room price. However, since you said it's cheap, I believe you won't deceive me, right?" As he said those words, killing intent flashed through his eyes. However, even though it was merely a flash, the young man was still able to clearly sense how powerful that killing intent was. That's right, that's right. This junior will naturally keep his word. Please follow this junior in. At this moment, the young man was extremely respectful. He no longer had the appearance of someone who thought he was a noble. As for the change in the young man, Lin Rei naturally knew what was going on. Thus, he didn't say anything. He smiled and called out to Jiayang. Then, he followed the young man into the interior of the trading company. From the outside, the trading company occupied a large area. However, when they actually entered the trading company, Lin Rei couldn't help but be stunned. For no other reason than the prosperity of this place, as well as the quality of the ornaments that were hung outside, Lin Rei was stunned. To the current Lin Rei, his horizons were naturally broad. When he entered the trading company, he saw a long sword that was hung at the entrance. As an honorable level blacksmith, Lin Rei naturally knew that this was a quasi-sacred artifact. Furthermore, looking at the patterns on the sword, it didn't seem like something that the current blacksmiths of the divine realm could refine. Furthermore, Lin Rei felt that these things were very similar to his own refining techniques. It was as if they came from the source. However, when he looked at them carefully, there were differences. Lin Rei was very puzzled about this. However, Lin Rei had a new assessment of the strength of the Baiyuan Trading Company. Subsequently, one after another, things that shocked Lin Rei appeared. Lin Rei felt that not only was this Baiyuan Trading Company's strength strong, they also had a very deep background. However, what surprised Lin Rei was why this kind of deep background wasn't famous before. What's wrong? At the side, sensing Lin Rei's abnormality, Jia Yang couldn't help but ask. Oh, it's nothing. Being pulled back to reality by Jia Yang's voice, Lin Rei smiled and became vigilant in his heart. Regarding this unknown place, Lin Rei didn't dare to guarantee that there wasn't any danger here. Let's go. Looking at the youth leading the way in front, Lin Rei waved his hand and followed closely. In the hall on the first floor, there weren't many people. They were in twos and threes. Most of them were individual customers. However, Lin Rei could feel that although these people were individual customers, their cultivations were mostly at the monarch or divine ancestor level. The youth didn't say anything. He only led Lin Rei upstairs. First floor, second floor, there weren't many people here. The situation was very different from the first floor. However, the decorations on the second floor were even more exquisite, and meticulous than the first floor. However, when they reached the third floor, everything changed. Originally, Lin Rei thought that it was a marketplace. In the end, what was different was that this was an auction. Moreover, it was a sea of people and the area was especially large. Uproar. The place was bustling with noise, farting, and whistling. Looking at these people, Lin Rei was stunned for a moment before returning to normal. At this moment, the youth leading the way in front turned around and said, "The two of you, follow me. There's a private room on the second floor. However, you need to pay 500,000 low-grade divine crystals to register as a VIP. So, what do you think?" As he said that, the youth smiled and rubbed his hands together. He looked as if he was going to collect the money. "Okay, I'll give it to you when we reach the private room." Let's go first. Lin Ray didn't care about 500,000 low-grade divine crystals at all. Oh, okay. Lin Ray's words were what he wanted to hear the most. Seeing that the person in front of him was so decisive, the youth didn't stay any longer. Instead, he was even more excited than before. The layout of this place was very simple. The center was empty, and there were rooms on both sides. There were a total of 3 floors, and each floor had 12 rooms. Each room had its own name. The empty space in the center of the first floor was filled with people. In a corner, there was a platform on which a woman stood. She had a delicate face and pointed ears. Frankly speaking, she was an elf. At this moment, the youth led Lin Ray and Lin Ray to the last empty room on the second floor. Stopping in front of the door, they raised their heads and looked at the words, Water Moon Pavilion, above their heads. A faint smile appeared on their lips as they walked in. The two of you, this is the VIP room on the second floor. There's a formation to isolate divine senses and a high-level illusion formation here. Therefore, you don't need to worry. At this moment, the youth in the room turned around to look at Lin Ray and began to introduce them. By the way, those are some of the better spirit fruits. We provide them for free. Chapter 8:14. Got it. As he spoke, Linley sent his divine sense into the storage ring that held the divine gems. He took out 500,000 low-grade divine gems, then placed them into an empty storage ring. With a casual wave of his hand, he tossed the storage ring containing the 500,000 divine gems to the youth. The young man was stunned by Lin Ray's actions. It should be known that there were 500,000 low-grade divine crystals in the storage ring. That was a considerable sum. Of course, Lin Ray did not care about the young man's thoughts at all. After all, Lin Ray did not care about the concept of divine crystals at all. After all, he had obtained these divine crystals by accident. Looking at the stunned young man who caught the storage ring, Lin Ray said, "Here are 500,000 low-grade divine crystals. You can leave now." Hearing this, the young man still wanted to say something, but the other party had already ordered him to leave. Moreover, to be able to casually take out such a large sum of divine crystals, coupled with Lin Ray's indifferent attitude, the young man knew that he could not afford to offend such a person. Moreover, he had to treat him well. He could not afford to offend him, throw him away, or have any dissatisfaction with him. Thinking of this, the young man smiled and nodded. "All right, since that is the case, I will take my leave first." With that, the young man turned and walked out of the door. Oh, right. At this moment, just as the young man reached the door and was about to leave, he suddenly stopped, turned around, and emphasized, "I am Baiyu. I hope you have a good time here." With that, Baiyu chuckled, closed the door, and left. Baiyu? Surnamed Bai. Hearing Baiyu's self-introduction, Lin Ray was stunned and fell into deep thought. How should he put it? Lin Ray felt that Baiyu's cultivation was not bad. He was at the peak of the early Divine Lord realm. To be able to reach such a realm at such a young age, even if he was not rare, he was definitely one of the top geniuses. But for such a person to work as an attendant in the White Yuan Trading Company, just this point alone made it so that Linley had no choice but to treat this auction seriously. From the first floor's guest hall, from the quasi-saint artifacts and quasi-saint medicines, Linley had the feeling that this auction definitely wouldn't be a simple one. Perhaps there really was something he needed. As he thought about it, Lin Ray couldn't help but reveal a smile on his face. When Jiayang saw Lin Ray acting like this, he didn't ask anything. Instead, he walked over and sat down. "TSK, this fruit is not bad." Sitting down, Zhang Xian took a whiff of the aroma of the spirit fruit beside him. Then, he casually grabbed a golden fist-sized fruit and put it into his mouth without caring what kind of fruit it was. With a crunch, he took a bite, and golden juice flowed out from the bite. A sweet fragrance instantly spread throughout the room. At that moment, Lin Rei, who was deep in thought, frowned when he smelled the fragrance. He came back to his senses and his gaze landed on the golden fruit in Jia Yang's hand. Lin Rei was momentarily stunned. Immediately after, he said with interest. "Heh, not bad. This White Yuan Trading Company is indeed a good place. Just the free spirit fruit has already reached the god rank. TSK, golden Qilin fruit. Rumor had it that it was formed after being stained with the blood of a golden Qilin. However, the specifics weren't clear. This kind of golden Qilin fruit was a god-rank spiritual herb. Moreover, it was one of the main ingredients to concoct honorable rank elixir. Now, it had become a free spirit fruit in the mouth of others. Of course, it was also because of this that Lin Rei was even more curious about this White Yuan Trading Company. He wanted to see how powerful this White Yuan Trading Company was. Hearing Lin Rei's introduction of the golden Qilin fruit, Jia Yang was stunned. Immediately after, he lowered his head and looked at the half-eaten golden fruit in his hand. Then, he understood something and his eyes widened with a shocked expression. You can't be talking about me, that's right, it's the fruit that you're eating." Understanding what Jia Yang wanted to say, Lin Rei nodded. "It's fine. It's good for you to eat more of this kind of fruit." Okay. Since Lin Rei had already said so, Jia Yang didn't think much about it and continued to eat. Anyway, these fruits were free. Moreover, there were still 7 or 8 fruits in the plate. Thinking about it, Jia Yang was happy. He wasn't stupid enough to think that eating these fruits would help him break through his cultivation. However, it would help in strengthening his body and cultivation. Looking at Jia Yang's current appearance, Lin Rei smiled. Immediately after, he went to the window and looked through the window at the arena on the first floor. At this moment, he was waiting for the auction to start. He wanted to see what kind of good things would be auctioned here. Hurry up and start. We've waited for so long. Why isn't it starting yet? At this moment, the crowd below began to jeer. Yeah, hurry up. Yeah, pretty lady. It's already so late. Hurry up and start. This. At this moment, the auctioneer looked at the commotion below the stage and was stunned. She was in a difficult position. To be honest, she also wanted to start the auction. However, she didn't have the final say here. She was only an auctioneer. As for when the auction would start, she still had to wait for the owner of this place to agree. The elf who was in a difficult position had an awkward smile on her face. In order to ease the awkwardness, she quickly said. That everyone, the auction is about to start. Please wait for a moment. We are currently preparing, immediately. Immediately, after saying that, she glanced at the young man who was standing at the staircase not far away. It was as if she was waiting for his nod. If Linley were here, he would definitely recognize that the person the elf was looking at was none other than Baiyu, the person who had guided them to the inn earlier. At this moment, Baiyu felt the inquiring gaze of the auctioneer. He smiled and nodded. He transmitted his voice. Let's start. Hearing this, the elf who was smiling awkwardly suddenly smiled. This smile was not the same as before. It was a very relaxed smile. She nodded at Baiyu and then looked at the crowd. She opened her red lips and said in a clear and melodious voice, "Everyone, the auction will begin now. I'm sorry to have kept cultivators waiting. Please accept my apology." After saying that, the elf called Captivating Hong continued. Let's get to the main topic. Everyone, let's get to the main topic. Now, let's officially start the auction. After saying that, she raised her hand. Her white skin caused everyone to hold their breaths. Suddenly, a young man walked out from the inner hall with a plate in his hand. Looking at the young man holding the plate, everyone was excited because the auction was about to start. On the plate in the young man's hand was the item that everyone urgently needed. It was also the reason why they were here. Hurry. Hurry up and start. I can't wait any longer. Ha ha ha. At this moment, sitting at the head of the table, a middle-aged man who was closest to the auction stage, looked at Captivating Hong with bright eyes. It was as if he was determined to get the item. Okay, let's start. Looking at the restless people below, Captivating Hong nodded her head. After that, the awkwardness on her face disappeared and was replaced by a serious expression. Next up is our first auction item. After saying that, Captivating Hong walked to the attendant's side and lifted the black cloth that was still on the plate. Then, a dagger was exposed to everyone's eyes. There was nothing strange about a dagger. However, what was different was that at the tip of the dagger, there was a trace of red. Because of that, the dagger became different. Just because of that trace of red, it added a finishing touch to the entire dagger. At this moment, the dagger revealed a bit of color. Especially that trace of red, it made the dagger look very demonic. Hiss, this dagger. At this moment, in the private room on the second floor, Lin Rei, who had been observing the situation below, was startled the instant he saw that demonic dagger. His heart was shocked. What's wrong? What dagger is this? Behind him, Jia Yang's voice sounded, followed by the sound of footsteps. TSK. The hand this time isn't as simple as it seems. Just by looking at it, I can feel the baleful aura emanating from the dagger. If I'm not mistaken, the hand this time is capable of absorbing blood essence on its own. It's a vicious weapon. Zhang Xian explained. Oh. Hearing those words, Jia Yang slowly walked to Lin Rei's side. With a curious gaze, he looked at the dagger on the auction stage. This. Looking at the dagger, Lin Rei's eyes widened. That was because this dagger was exactly as Lin Rei said. At first glance, one's gaze was completely attracted by it. Heh, top quality honorable level. Lin Rei said with a smile. Hiss. How is this possible? At this moment, hearing Lin Rei's words, Jia Yang was shocked. Although he had not been in the divine realm for long, he still had some understanding of the divine realm. Other than Lin Rei, he could not think of anyone else who could refine such a powerful weapon. Moreover, a top-quality honorable level weapon. Who would be willing to sell such a weapon? Weapons of this level were all sealed in the forbidden grounds of various sects as the signboard of the sections. Nothing is impossible. Looking at Jia Yang, Lin Rei said, perhaps it's those old bastards from the sections. Although there is no such person on the surface, who can guarantee that there is no such person? Moreover, the divine realm is vast and unmarked. Who dares to say that they can tour the entire divine realm? That's true. Hearing those words, Jia Yang's temper was gone. Because what Lin Rei said was right. No one could be 100% sure about how big the divine realm was. Enough. Looking at the stunned Jia Yang, Lin Rei waved his hand to get him to regain his senses. I want this item. You can call out a price. Looking at Lin Rei in a daze, Jia Yang smiled bitterly. To be honest, he had never participated in this kind of thing before. Moreover, he had never called out a price before. At this moment, Lin Rei suddenly said those words. This made Jia Yang somewhat helpless. What? I told you to call out a price. No matter how many divine crystals it is, I must have this item. After saying that, he took a chair from the side and sat at the side. His eyes were filled with burning desire as he stared at the bottom. Jia Yang wanted to refute, but looking at Lin Rei's current appearance, Jia Yang knew that it was already impossible for him to escape. Helplessly, Jia Yang could only compromise. He nodded his head and looked at the auction stage, waiting for the bidding to start. At this moment, on the auction stage, Yan Hong looked at the crowd below and smiled. She explained, this dagger is called Soul Devourer. It is a top-grade venerable level weapon. As for its effect, it is very powerful. It can stack up the user's attack power by 10%. Hiss, when Hong Meng, Soul Devourer, was mentioned, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Their faces were filled with shock. This kind of weapon was very much needed in all sections. Heh. Sure, it can stack up the user's attack power by 10%. Not bad. I really want to see the person who made it. He's almost on par with me. Looking at Soul Devourer, Lin Rei was even more determined to get it. Alright, let's start the auction now. At this moment, Yan Hong's voice woke everyone up from their stupor. She then said, Soul Devourer's base price is 1 million middle-grade divine crystals. Each bid is 200,000 middle-grade divine crystals. In that case, everyone bid enthusiastically. The highest bidder will get it. Me, 1,600,000. At this moment, after Yan Hong finished speaking, someone immediately took over. There was no pause in the middle. The person who spoke was none other than the middle-aged man who was about to start the bidding. 2 million, a wave of bidding began. The competition was very intense. The first floor's hall, the second floor's private rooms, and the third floor's private rooms all appeared. Moreover, the level of bidding was getting higher and higher. At this moment, the price had increased from 1 million to 7 million. Moreover, it did not change for more than 3 minutes. Looking at the bids one after another, Lin Rei, who was in private room 2 on the second floor, did not say anything. Jia Yang, who was beside him, also did not say anything. Regarding this, Lin Rei did not ask too much. After all, he had already said that this matter would be handed over to Jia Yang and he would not interfere. 8 million. Suddenly, a woman's voice resounded from a private room on the third floor. Immediately, everyone present became silent. 8 million middle-grade divine crystals was a terrifying amount no matter which sect it was in. Moreover, this was only the first item to be auctioned. There were still more to come. They did not want to spend their money on this. After all, the later items would be of better quality. At this moment, the entire place became silent. No one spoke. Looking at the silent scene, Yan Hong spoke. 8 million going once, 8 million, going twice. When she shouted the second time, there was still no one speaking. At this moment, Yan Hong thought that there was no one else. 3 million going thrice, done, 9 million. Suddenly, a number that shocked the entire place was called out. Everyone present was stunned. Even the person on the third floor who shouted 8 million shut her mouth. 8 million was her limit. 9 million. Is there anyone with 9 million? 9 million going once. At this moment, when she heard the number of 9 million, Yan Hong quickly shouted out. 9 million going twice, 9 million going thrice, bang. The small hammer in Yan Hong's hand was knocked on the table. Then, with a smile on her face, she said, sold. Congratulations to the Water Moon Pavilion for obtaining the Soul Devourer for the high price of 9 million. After saying that, Yan Hong signaled the attendant behind her to send the item up. Not bad, Jia Yang. To be able to obtain such an achievement on your first try. Amazing. At this moment, in the Water Moon Pavilion, when they saw that Jia Yang had successfully obtained the Soul Devourer that he wanted, they could not help but praise him. Chapter 8:15. Hee hee. Jia Yang smiled and ignored Lin Rei's praise. He didn't know anything about the auction and he didn't want to do anything because he didn't have anything he wanted to buy. Alright. You can watch. There are some things that you can do as you see fit. I won't interfere. Seeing Jia Yang acting like this, Lin Rei nodded his head and stopped looking at him. He got up and walked to the bed at the side and lay down. As for the auction items, since he had given Jia Yang full authority, he could relax. Seeing Lin Rei leave with such ease, Jia Yang panicked. He didn't know what to buy and couldn't make up his mind at the moment. Don't worry. All of the things that we obtain from the auction this time will be given to the sect. You can buy whatever you want. As for divine crystals, we don't lack them. Knowing what Jia Yang was worried about, Linli immediately spoke out. Oh, okay. Since Jia Yang had said this much, he didn't say anything else. Since he knew the general situation, he knew how to deal with it. He didn't look at Lin Rei anymore and turned his gaze back to the auction stage. At this moment, Jia Yang seemed to have made some kind of decision. His eyes were filled with determination. On the bed, looking at Jia Yang's back, a smile appeared on Jia Yang's face. His eyes were filled with relief. Then, he closed his eyes and entered the system. Within the picturesque system space, Lin Rei slowly walked to the surface of the lake and sat down. Why did you come in? At this moment, just as Lin Rei sat down, the system's voice rang out. Me? Lin Rei raised his head and looked at the sky. He said, I have nothing to do outside, so I came in to study formations. After all, time is money. Moreover, my time is much more valuable than money. I can't afford to waste it. Hee. All right. The system was speechless at Lin Rei's words. All right. You can slowly study here. I won't disturb you. However, you must remember that you don't have much time left. You still have a bit of time left to become the sect master of the Talisman sect in 100 years. As for the 1,000 years mission, you don't have much time left. So, young man, hurry up. Alas. Hearing the system's reminder, Linli sighed. I was in a pretty good mood, but now that you've appeared, my good mood has been completely ruined. After saying that, Linli shut his mouth and did not say anything else. The system did the same as Linli, shutting its mouth and going into hiding. At this moment, the system space fell silent. No one spoke. Lin Rei, who was sitting on the surface of the lake, entered a state of enlightenment. Dong dong dong, in the outside world, when Jia Yang was paying close attention to the movements on the auction stage, suddenly, there was a knock on his door. He turned his head and looked at the door. Jia Yang was puzzled as to who was there. He didn't know who would come here. Asterisk knock knock knock, asterisk the sound of someone knocking on the door rang out once more. In response, Jia Yang moved. He got up and walked to the door with confusion. The instant he extended his hand to open the door, a young man's face appeared. You are. This is your auction item. At that moment, the young man looked at Jia Yang and spoke. As he spoke, he held the tray in his hand and handed it over to Jia Yang. Oh. Seeing the tray, Jia Yang recalled. Wasn't this young man the attendant who was dragging the soul devourer on the auction stage earlier? After understanding, Jia Yang extended his hand and received the tray. Then, he placed the 9 million mid-quality divine crystals that he had prepared beforehand into a storage ring and handed it over to the young man. Here are the 9 million mid-quality divine crystals. Take them. Hearing those words, the attendant was startled. He did not accept the storage ring and instead said, Actually, you shouldn't settle the bill so quickly. Here, we wait until the end to settle the bill. Because we're afraid that the guests will continue to bid, so. Okay. Jia Yang nodded his head and took back the storage ring. Then, he smiled and said, Since that's the case, you can leave first. I might have to trouble you to make a few more trips later. Yes. Hearing those words, the attendant's eyes shined. Then, he bowed respectfully and obediently left the room. Seeing that the attendant had left, Jia Yang closed the door and put away the storage ring in his hand. After closing the door, Jia Yang walked over to the window and sat on the chair that Lin Rei was sitting on earlier. He lowered his head and looked at the black cloth covering the soul devourer. Jia Yang's heart moved. Then, he extended his hand and removed the black cloth covering the soul devourer. Hoo, whoosh. A sword humming sound instantly resonated through the entire room. Then, the temperature of the room that was originally decent instantly dropped to the extreme. Emin? Jia Yang was startled by this. His gaze was firmly fixed on the soul devourer. Until now, this was the first time that Jia Yang had seen a dagger that was capable of emitting such killing intent. Such a spiritual dagger was sufficient to show how powerful it was. Unable to restrain himself, Jia Yang extended his hand and grabbed the soul devourer's dagger. Suddenly, an ice-cold sensation began to spread from his hand to his arm. Then, it spread through his entire body and all the way to the back of his head. At this moment, Jia Yang felt that he was bathed in killing intent. At this moment, his surroundings were naturally not the Baiyuan Trading Company. Instead, it was an Azura battlefield. The surrounding smoke, flames of war, broken limbs, and all kinds of bloody things were everywhere. Even the ground beneath his feet was dyed red with blood. The smell of blood rushed into Jia Yang's nostrils. At this moment, Jia Yang felt that everything was even more real. Hiss, this. Feeling the sensation that the soul devourer gave him, Jia Yang's face revealed a trace of shock. If such a weapon was used in battle, wouldn't it be the same as the domain that only God Emperors could awaken? Feeling the illusion brought about by the soul devourer, Jia Yang was startled. He forcibly stabilized his invisibility. Instantly, the surrounding scene that was like an Azura from hell disappeared. Hoo, his vision returned to normal. After returning to his room, his breathing became extremely fast. Jia Yang placed the soul devourer back onto the tray and placed it down again. To be honest, just from the scene just now, Jia Yang was tempted by the soul devourer. He really wanted to see what would happen if he were to use the soul devourer in battle. However, at this moment, when Jia Yang was fantasizing in his heart, on the auction stage on the first floor, Yanhong once again became excited. The first auction item had been sold. Yanhong was unable to stop this good start. Alright, the soul devourer is not fated to be here. Since that's the case, let's move on to our second auction item. After saying that, the attendant who had been waiting for a long time walked out from the backstage and stopped beside Yanhong. He was holding a tray in his hand. The tray was still covered with a black cloth. At this moment, the crowd below the stage became excited again. Because the 100th bid was 9 million, everyone began to look forward to the auction item's price. Looking at the eager crowd below the stage, Tai Chong Yanhong opened her mouth and said, "The auction item this time is a very amazing item." After saying that, she lifted the black cloth covering the tray. Suddenly, a black stone was exposed to everyone's eyes. Emin? Yanhong, what is this? You can't be trying to fool us with a stone, right? That's right, that's right. It's so black and doesn't look like anything. What is this? That's right. What is this? At this moment, the instant the item on the tray was exposed to everyone's eyes, everyone lost their calm. There was a fist-sized stone on the tray. It was pitch black, just like a piece of coal. There was neither spirit nor spiritual aura on it. Everyone present couldn't remain calm. Everyone thought that Captivating Crimson or the White Yuan Trading Company was trying to fool them. Sensing the commotion below the stage, Yanhong was stunned. She quickly explained, everyone, please calm down. This stone is called the Chaos Stone. It is a very powerful and high-grade material for refining weapons. If a little bit of it is added during the refining process, then the grade of the weapon will be greatly improved. Moreover, the weapon refined will have a stacked attack power that is even more terrifying than the Soul Devourer. Hiss. At this moment, the crowd who questioned earlier all sucked in a breath of cold air. Their faces were filled with astonishment. Chaos Stone? At this moment, on the second floor of the Water Moon Pavilion, when Yanhong explained the Chaos Stone, Jia Yang came back to his senses. When he heard it, he looked at the black stone on the stage and was shocked. He knew about the Chaos Stone. There was an introduction to the Chaos Stone in the Realm Palace's Scripture Pavilion. The Chaos Stone was a product produced in the chaos after Hongmeng's sky was created. The Chaos Stone could be used to set up formations and refine weapons. It could be said that it had many uses. However, the Chaos Stone was very easy to call. Unless one was blessed by the Dragon of Luck, otherwise, Chaos Stone. The starting bid is 2 million mid-grade divine crystals. The starting bid is 500,000 mid-grade divine crystals. Now, the competition begins. As usual, the highest bidder wins. Bam! The moment the knocking sound was heard, the price began to soar. 3 million mid-grade divine crystals. At this moment, an old man stood up. His face was flushed red as he shouted to the auction stage, 3,500,000. This Chaos Stone is Zhong Yangzi's for sure. TSK, you dare to take out 3,500,000? What a disgrace. I'll take out 4,500,000. Hiss. The moment the bid of 4,500,000 was made, the crowd sucked in a breath of cold air. Some people quieted down at this moment. They wanted to shout out a price, but they were too embarrassed to do anything. Seeing how intense the bidding was, the people on the second and third floors were ready to watch the show. Time passed by slowly. In the blink of an eye, the price had risen from 4,500,000 mid-grade divine crystals to 8,500,000. 8,500,000. 8,500,000. Is there anyone else who wants to raise the price? At this moment, Yan Hong, who was on the stage, smiled when she saw the crowd raise the price to 8,500,000. Although she asked this question, she knew that the bidding on the second and third floors had not started yet. The 8,500,000 was just the beginning. 10 million, wow. The crowd could no longer remain calm. 10 million divine crystals was a huge sum of money. Even in a first-grade sect, it was more than half of their total expenditure. This voice came from one of the private rooms on the third floor. It was a man's voice. One could tell that it was the voice of a young man. 15 million, another price soared. The crowd was already numb. The crowd on the first floor gave up on competing. Instead, they were ready to watch the show. Everyone raised their heads and looked at the second and third floors. Their eyes were filled with anticipation. 20 million, 25 million, it began. The numbers that shocked the crowd on the first floor instantly impacted their hearts. These simple numbers were indeed something that they would never be able to reach in their lifetime. On the second floor, in the Water Moon Pavilion, an amused smile appeared on his face when he heard the bidding from the outside. The corner of his mouth was slightly raised. The Chaos Stone is mine. When Jia Yang found out about the Chaos Stone, he had decided that he would definitely get it. There was no other reason other than the fact that Lin Rei was a blacksmith. Moreover, he knew that if Lin Rei knew about the Chaos Stone, he would probably go even crazier. He waited and waited for the bidding from the outside. Slowly, the price of 25 million became 40 million. Even a top force might not be able to bear this number. After all, a sect was not a single person, but tens of thousands of people. However, if he could spend 40 million to obtain the Chaos Stones and use them to refine weapons, he would be able to make the best use of them. The moment the bid of 40 million was announced, everyone shut their mouths. No one spoke, no one bid. At this moment, everyone seemed to have stopped breathing, and the space seemed to have frozen. Everyone was stunned in place. A few minutes later, Yan Hong came back to her senses and looked at the quiet scene below the stage. Yan Hong opened her mouth and ignited the atmosphere again. 40 million going once. Is there anyone else who wants to raise the price? Is there anyone else who wants to raise the price? After pausing for half a minute, Scarlet spoke again. 40 million going twice. 40 million going thrice. Done. 50 million. Boom! Everyone in the hall exploded. Even in the room on the third floor, where the 40 million bid had been shouted, a huge pressure instantly erupted. 50 million. How is 50 million possible? How is this possible? 50 million? What kind of power? The young man sitting on the seat in the room was stunned and shocked, as if this was something he had not expected. Right at this moment, within the Watermoon Pavilion, Sneer suddenly sensed a powerful aura. Lying on the bed, Sneer opened his eyes. His face was filled with confusion, but within that confusion, he was also filled with rage. Lin Ray, who was in the system, had already touched the opportunity to create a divine array. However, just as he was about to capture it, the system asked Lin Ray to leave immediately. As a result, the current scene was created. Feeling the pressure, his originally calm face instantly turned cold, and a wave of anger rushed to his heart. Are you trying to laugh yourself to death? With the cultivation of a peak mid-stage ultimate god, he instantly released his aura and rushed towards the third floor where the pressure came from. Puff! On the third floor, in the room where the pressure came from, the young man sitting in the middle opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood. His face instantly turned pale. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.